Hey guys, how's it going? We are
Well,
here,
welcome to Trekyards. My name is Captain Foley.
and I'm Samuel Cockings.
Today we're going to talk about
I mean, Commander
Polaron.
Cockings. Why did I say Sam here?
I don't
I don't
know.
know. Commander
We're going
Cockings.
to talk about Polaron arrays mixed with energetic charged mitochondrial phased quantum. So this is the pre-bit that everyone after the fact sees and thinks, what the hell is happening? But everyone during the live is like, well, we haven't arrived yet, so no one knows. So I can say whatever I want, and only the people after the fact are going to see.
Mm-hmm.
Hi,
Yes.
Stuart.
So, hi guys. Hi Samuel.
Just doing some
I've
colored.
already said hi to you once today, though.
Yeah. Is that too much? I mean, surely you should be happy with multiple hellos, and multiple goodbyes, and multiple. Well, especially the goodbyes, I'm sure. But
One hi a day is fine. Many multiple goodbyes is good. I mean, I don't know how that quite works out, but
yeah, let's go with that. So episode what? What are we at? 11 of 14, or is it 15 this year?
14, I believe.
Wow, we're almost end of this road, and it
Yeah,
was a.
it's been a long road.
There we go. That's where I was going. God, can you imagine a world where there isn't new Star Trek to watch every week, and we have many questions about every single week?
Mm-hmm.
Almost the
Mm-hmm.
end of Anson Mont as well. It's sad.
Yes.
He was so good.
Yes. Joseph Petrick puts in €2.
Joseph
Strug-
Patrick.
Struggle is pointless. Resistance is futile. Live long and prosper. Indeed.
Yeah, and doing some small research as well, there are slightly more parallels as well. Although, boy, if they... I guess if Discovery wants to end on a low, they can ruin canon in a few other ways before they go. They've got the license, they might as well ruin a few more things. Because, Cloak's around 200 years early and all these things. It's like, yeah, let's involve the Borg. Because
Oh, don't mention the Borg. I hope that's not the
that's
case.
what he was meant. That's what I was just mentioned for Joseph's $2.
Hmm.
So as you can see, I'm sort of scrolling through the entire episode. Lots to talk about. Lots of. It's funny. Both a lot happened and nothing happened. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep. As I said in another review, it's like for most of the middle there, I was watching this going, I didn't take any notes. Like I feel like I'm not doing my job, but it's just like, hey, so time, and hey, I'm your mom, and hey, how's it going, and hey, goodbye, and hey, and I was like, what? I just.
And then, hey, I'm gonna shoot this massive laser cannon at you. And go, pew. Yes. And this will be really good, I think, because not many of us had the opportunity to actually go in and screen cap and frame by frame this stuff. And there's a lot of small details that are hard to notice if you actually just watch the episode. But and a couple you pointed out, I was like, oh, I'll make sure I find frames of them. So lots to discuss. Right. Yeah, clear the darkest ones. So, how many people have we got watching today with us?
We've got 75 right now that I can see on my end.
Let's have a look at the total. But we're on time. I guess people expect us to be like 3 or 4 minutes late.
Well, generally because of you, we are. Mm-hmm.
There are always reasons, though.
Mm-hmm.
Always. That humming
I
sound
know
is
it.
annoying. I think. Well,
I don't hear a humming sound.
so I guess it's my PC.
Mm-hmm.
It's very low in the.
We could make it more annoying, and then you wouldn't notice the other hum. There's no hum here.
And Jonathan Alvarez says, you can do the Borg without the Federation, never figure out where they went after they are gone from the show. Yeah, but that's not the point. We don't want to know the origins of the Borg. It's not the fact they're in the show, it's the fact that don't let the Discovery writers, which have proven to be less good, forever describe the origin of the Borg. It's like, no, you let them be their own thing. You don't need it described. They're better not knowing. That's fine. You don't want that stuff. It's not gonna be good for anybody. It's just to get ratings.
It's really not needed. It's kind of a crutch if they do that.
Well, time travel, Pike, Enterprise.
Yeah.
I mean, greatest hits. Aaron Johnson. I'm new to this channel. Hello. Oh, Rob Meyer Burnett recommended me to you guys, which is a general compliment.
Yeah, Rob Burnett is an amazing guy. I love Rob Burnett, and glad he sent you over our way. Hopefully, we don't let you down and disappoint you in any way. Go check out some of our other videos. We do a lot on ships and tech. And
do we have, Stuart, more than 100 videos on ships?
We have way more than 100
more
videos
than
on
200.
Ships. Yes.
More than 300.
Yes.
More than 400. Yeah.
Do we?
Mission briefings, yeah.
Well, with mission briefings, yeah, I would say.
More than 500?
400.
I think we have a...
I think that's pushing it. If you
include Fleetyards, though...
We got a lot of cool stuff. Go check it out.
We do. So any ship pretty much you like will have something.
Yeah, and if you're not sure, in the YouTube search bar, just type in Trekyards and then the ship you want, and it'll pull up whatever we've done on that ship. So if you have, if the ship you're looking for isn't there, you need to talk to us. We'll try to fit it in.
So yeah, 109. Well, I'll let you talk to the chat while I share for our amazing audience.
Alrighty then. So guys, welcome back. Some of you joined me last night for the first reaction discussion, and I like seeing you guys back here. That's awesome. So thank you very much to everybody that joined for that. And yeah, this episode surprised me. I didn't expect it to be this. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. Even though, as Samuel said, a lot happened, yet not a lot happened, it felt like.
And it's funny, I say enjoying it is a better way to describe it than a good episode. I don't know if it's a good episode, but it's an enjoyable episode. And sometimes you just want to sit back and relax and enjoy. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. You know? But it's not a bad episode, I just think it's... I don't know if you guys watched the review, but I'm kind of on the fence of being confused if I like it or not. And I still am, because I'm positive about it. There's lots of problems about it, but they're not like they're weird problems, but I enjoy talking about that sort of stuff, you know, plot problems and things. It's like, it's fun, and because they could all be fixed, so it's very much a work in progress, which is funny. Each of the last 3 weeks I've said to you, Stuart, wow, the episode is really just another teasing you journey one. And again, we have another. More happened, though, to be fair, they give us more answers. But again, teasing us for this journey of like, oh my goodness. They always have something at the end which grabs you, and the middle's like, oh. It's like,
and some of those plot holes you talk about can still be rectified and corrected or explained in future episodes. So they might not be plot holes just as it sits right now, because it's not episodic. It's still got that overarching story that we need to follow that before we can actually get the whole picture. So, but
I still want to bring them up because some of them are blatant. I think half of them will be addressed, or at least I hope so. Sorry, I'm sharing. Sorry.
Share. So yeah, guys. As you guys know, or if you don't know, if you haven't joined one of our lives before, I know there's some new people here. You can super chat, and that helps the channel, and that makes sure that your opinion, your question, your voice gets heard, because we got a separate window for the super chats so we can see them. A lot of times the main chat flies by pretty quick. People are talking amongst themselves. The moderators are handling that generally. Sometimes we will pull a question or a comment out of there if we really see something that grabs our attention, but the best way to get our attention is to super chat, because it comes up separately and it's all pretty and colorful, and you get to contribute and help the channel out that way. So, or another way to help out the channel as well, if you want to see more videos like this and more content coming from us on a regular basis, click the links down below. There's one for Patreon. There's one for our Teespring store. You can get some cool Trekyards merchandise. Go check it out. See if there's anything you're interested in. Lots of cool shirts and pin-up shirts and cool stuff. So check all that stuff out. And if you're into ships, which you should be if you're following Trekyards, we also have the Eagle Moss link down below, which is very helpful if you guys want to save some money. Just click that link, go to Eagle Moss, pick up some ships that you really like, and at checkout, just use the discount code Trekyards, because it'll save you guys some money and helps out the channel at the same time. So there's many ways to help out the channel, but super chats are great during these, because we get to see you guys, see what you guys have to think or what your question is, and we get to interact with you. And that's the funnest part about this, is just hanging out with the community. It's like we're hanging out with friends that we've known forever, just chatting about around the water cooler, the Romulan ale cooler, chatting about the latest episode.
And we found that the more you guys engage, the more you guys super chat, the more we bounce back with you, and we create even more conversations. And you know, it's a self-fulfilling thing. If you guys are bouncing, a lot of you are here, we get more bouncy and have these long conversations, and it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. It's rewarding because it is a very community-based discussion. Yeah, we've had our main review, which is out already. Please go back and watch that. But you guys put some amazing theories and things in, and we'll get to review in just 1 minute because we want to wait for people to join in. 132 people. Hopefully, we'll get to 150 and we can start. Hopefully,
well, James Bruin puts in £2 with no comment, but thank you very much, James. Very good, very much appreciated. It all helps, even the smallest little bit. So thank you very much. Another way, guys, if you don't want to super chat, if you do want to contribute and not have YouTube take 30%, because I tell you right now, they take 30% right off your super chat right at the start. If you want to give more to us, there's another way to do that. In the links down below, there is information for donating via PayPal. And if you do that, all you have to do is mention it in the chat that you donated via PayPal. You can leave your question or comment on the PayPal memo when you do it that way, and then we can check. We'll read your question or comment, and then more of your donation goes towards the channel and not so much to YouTube. So just another option, guys. But anyway.
I'll be back in 1 second, like 50 seconds, but still very quick.
Okay. I have no idea where he's going. Marvin just mentioned Philippa Giorgio just confirmed in this episode that Discovery is the Prime Universe timeline. Well, okay. The funny thing about this episode is I actually am beginning to like the character of Giorgio, and I've been firm in my belief that I don't like this character since the beginning. But this one, they actually got me starting to like her, and I really appreciate that. The fact that they're kind of softening her character or making her more likable. Probably because she's going to lead the Section 31 show, and they don't want somebody that everybody absolutely despises in the lead role. So,
but that's where you like the character more, but the character is not the same as it was. You're liking the new character, the way they've altered her for this season. Because how do you put Space Nazi in your show as a hero? It's kind of tricky, and so they just said we'll just keep making her more nice. And make her love Michael for some odd reason. I'm not quite sure. Like, I sort of get it, but it's not quite earned yet.
Yeah, I can see it being a thing in the future, but yeah, it needs some more development.
Because Giorgio keeps leaving the show as well. She keeps being there and leaving the scene. She needs to, like a Tyler, she wants to be the Tyler to have interactions with to build up that chemistry a bit more. Because you can't use the relationship between Mira Giorgio and Mira Burnham as a base, because we know how different these people are. So you might sort of love them, but wasn't there? Well, because think about how if it was that easy, Benjamin Sisko and Mira Jennifer would have got together because they're close enough. It's like, it doesn't mean you can be compatible in another universe.
Yeah. Eugene puts in 500 rubles. Thank you very much, Eugene. Nice to see you, man.
Good to see you.
I was surprised the episode didn't end with some surprise plot twist. Much of the episode was continuous drag through. Well, yeah, it's all part of this this is a couple episodes story right now at this point for this. So, yeah, I was a little surprised there wasn't a twist as well. But at the same time, I think there's still a twist or two coming.
Well, I think it's more a case that there's lots of smaller twists. Because we learned so much important information in this episode. Like, it is jam-packed with answers. More questions, but that's a good thing to build us into that conversation. Shall we start then, Stuart?
Yes. What a twist. All right.
Okay, so we start at as it says there, I can read, Tori Alpha Research Outpost Vulcan Colony. It's always nice to see an external. Well, I think I'm a feeling this is going to be seen again. Because it's that's a pretty detailed CG digital environment, which is well designed, and then the internal habitat bit. Again, it's quite a fleshed out set. It is just a redress of the Section 31 middle bit, repainted and stuff. So it is a redress, but I feel like the amount of stuff was put into this for what amounts to like a minute 30 on screen, if that. I bet you we're going to come back to it in the end of the season, and that's why they've sort of put the money into make it a real set. But yeah, what do you think of the beginning then, with this flashback to where it all began as Mummy Red Angel?
As I said, I'm not. I'm usually not one for flashbacks. Like it kind of bugs me, especially in stuff like Arrow, and I really hated that in season 1 of Arrow. But that's a whole other issue that Samuel's frustrated with. This flashback I really liked actually. Made Burnham feel more like a human being.
Mm.
I really liked the family interaction. I liked the time they were having. They were getting along with each other, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody was smiling, happy. She was checking out the supernova. You hear a little talk about recharging the crystal or the suit or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and just little off the cuff remarks that Michael
Mm-hmm.
might not have noticed or thought were relevant at the time,
Yeah.
which were really great. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a fantastic flashback scene. Was it needed? Maybe not, but it was really well done, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a natural beginning because we just ended on such a. And the fact is, if they knew in season two that they were of season one, sorry, that they were going to use this dynamic, this setup as in something important, because we knew she was in this cupboard. We knew that they got killed outside. They obviously weren't. They didn't explore it any further. The death of her parents in season one. This was obviously not the intention. If they'd
Mm.
known, it would have been more clear. We've had more details, and so now it's important all of a sudden. So now showing us actually what it was is now relevant, and then suddenly to show that yes, they weren't exactly hiding secrets. I think he mentions the time crystal like out loud. Obviously, Burnham isn't necessarily
Mhm.
gonna, Michael isn't necessarily gonna think, but it is weird that they're so like they're not very secretive, really, and also I guess they live on the lab, like the
Mhm.
next door. Uh, but it's a nice gentle opening, good family dynamic, and yes, the time crystal which we see here is interesting. So that's the thing they stole from Kronos. The Klingons are after, and it's 70% charged. It's being
Mhm.
charged by a supernova, which is important. And a supernova, they explicitly explain that supernova can generate, I think it was 1 billion times the power of a sun in a year or something, something extreme. But then Michael says in dialogue that there is, apparently a supernova somewhere every second, which sets up that this thing needs supernovas to recharge because it's an epically powerful power source, and that's why they went there to charge it. And they say that with 70%, it's almost ready for test trials, and it'll just have enough power for the first couple of tests. So it's something that we're setting up now that if this Mama Burnham has done 800 missions, 800 logs, there's 800 missions, say, or a few hundred, then it may be 3 or 4 she had to recharge with supernova, so just to keep crossing the universe to charge up this suit,
It
which
was
does take
941 mission log entries. I'm just going to be precise
yeah.
there. 941.
Yeah, although it doesn't necessarily mean they're all missions. Actually, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote on 841. Ooh.
Well, I wrote 941. One of us is wrong.
That's great. Okay. But I thought it was interesting. Like,
We got the 41 part right.
yeah, but I think that's interesting. Like, at least we have a sense that this thing takes so much power.
Yeah.
Because it needs limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eugene puts in 300 rubles. Isn't she way too old not to remember the suite and her parents' work? Well, hindsight's 2020. Once you know that they're working on this secret project, you're kind of like, oh yeah, well, the things they said, but it's off the cuff technical talk that the parents are doing in the background while she's like looking at the supernova. So it's not necessarily something she'd be paying attention to.
Well,
She wasn't Vulcan trained at this point, so
she was just a kid, and also, they told her why they were there to study the supernova. So therefore, everything's in context of space. And remember, you just heard / watched your parents get murdered, scarring, and then
everybody's confirming that it's 841. So I was wrong. I don't know why I put 941. Probably just I was typing it on my phone, my notes. I might have just hit the 9 instead of the 8.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
I feel bad.
It's fine. So yeah, so I'm yeah, she's a little bit. I mean, again, this is a retcon of their own show, and so the Klingons are now right there. They get right on the base, and they get in, and do a bit of shooty. Oh, that's a bit later, isn't it? But yeah, the Klingons are there now. Thoughts?
Yeah, I remember seeing the bird of prey in the trailer and thinking, "Oh, damn, they're still using the bird of prey." But it was for flashbacks. So I really didn't have an issue with that too much. Um, that's fine. The one issue that I did have, and I think we pointed out in another review, is the fact that the phasers, which are what 20 years old at this point.
Must be.
Well, this is 20 years in the past, so the phasers look exactly the same. So it would have been nicer to see one that more fell in line with like an earlier design or something, because they haven't changed in that amount of time. It's kind of
could have been the cage laser. It's in it for 1 second. Just give him a cage laser.
yeah, that'd be cool
That'd
actually.
have been perfect.
Yeah. Jill Wright puts in $2. Soneqa's husband Kenneth Green plays Michael B. Sr. Oh, he's the husband. That's cool. That's actually Soneqa's.
A little bit weird that husband's playing her own father.
Yes.
I thought it would have been kind of cool then if the daughter had actually been her daughter. That I'm playing you as older you.
If she has a daughter, I don't even know if she does. But
now this is where the first plot hole comes in, Stuart, because this episode is filled with plot holes a little bit.
Okay.
How exactly did this Klingon bird of prey manage to sneak up on a Section 31 secret facility inside of a Vulcan facility, so much so that there was no ships in orbit, there was no planetary defenses or planetary sensors. It managed to get literally to landing on the planet, and that was the warning system. They had no sensors, there was no like beep beep, sir, there's someone approaching. How exactly did it get with the most secret, powerful potential technology, the time suit, and there's not even a Section 31 ship in orbit defending it? How exactly did first plot hole?
The best way to hide your top secret military organization outpost is to not have any visible security or ships hovering nearby. So I just, off the cuff research facility. I actually never even thought about that until you just mentioned it. So I didn't really see that as much of a plot hole. But yeah, it doesn't make a whole ton of sense. But
because literally, I was expecting like a red alert, Klingon ship approaching, like. They would have sensors to detect a ship because they haven't got cloaks at this point. So you're telling me they managed to warp into the system, go through the atmosphere, and no one notices. Again, there's just several things with just like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. And this is one of them. It's like, how did it go? It's a great looking shop. It's like, oh, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, Kevin W. Clark puts in $5 Canadian. Thank you. Do you guys think Michael will take that suit down the line from her mom and use it? That in the signatures of Michael makes sense again. Absolutely, we do. We talked about that. There's foreshadowing in this episode to say as much. It starts out when she wakes out of the coma here in a minute. Dr. Colbert was talking about the mycelial or the mitochondrial DNA, how much of a match it is with the mother. And then later, we find out that the suit is DNA strand encoded so that Giorgio couldn't use it, but I'm sure that Michael would be able to. So there's kind of that foreshadowing with those two parts of the story that, yes, I'm a firm believer that Michael's going to use that suit. I've said that for a while now, and I still think that's going to be the case. And we have a few theories about that and how that might play out, which will probably be separate videos. But yeah.
I mean, I agree completely. Don't say any more than that.
Yeah. Philip Wagner puts in €10.
Oh, very kind. Thank you.
Discovery is the only one having the entire archive of the probe. To prevent Control getting the data, the ship is given up and hidden in the fog from Calypso. Next season, we will get a new Discovery A. Yes, it's not a coincidence that when she travels through time, she travels 950 years in the future, and Discovery has been waiting for 1,000 years. Too much correlation there. So yeah, there's something's going to happen that ties in with Calypso, which I love because I really loved Calypso, and as a standalone piece, it was fine. But I love that they're going to tie it together. So
yeah, exactly. Okay, so then she wakes up, and you can take on this scene.
Oh yeah, so it's great to see Dr. Culber back in uniform.
Were you a bit confused though? It was like instant. It's like
no, not really.
Okay.
Later he says I've been reinstated for like 5 minutes. So because I want to be here. So he's trying. I think he's trying to regain that spark of his old life. So that's cool. And then here again we talk about the mitochondrial DNA and how it's a match to her mother. And the bioneural signature as well is mentioned again. Um, and yeah, she wakes up thinking this was all a dream, that, she was the Red Angel, that they'd caught a future her or something. I know it's your mother. And it's like, mommy, mommy, Moogie. Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, some great acting on her part in this scene, because she really has that look of somebody that's like, can't believe her mother is alive.
Yeah, as
so really good.
as an actress, I mean, she's playing when she's given stuff to do that's like just core emotions. She can deliver like time after time after time. It's kind of the middling stuff she's not as good at, but it's like she's just, giving it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, second plot hole.
Okay, let's get to the super chat first.
Please do.
Matthew DeFreitas puts in $5.
Hey.
Problem is, I'm not invested in Burnham's family line.
Familial.
Yes. So I don't care that Mom is the Red Angel. In my opinion, poor writing. All we cared about is Spock, and that story is dead now. Yeah, he's just kind of wandering around like a ghost. He's still on vacation. He's using up his shore leave time, or his just hanging out on the bridge and, being informal. Doesn't have to shave yet because he's still on vacation. So
yeah, he really should be in uniform by now. Like the guy that died is already back in uniform. like he's been, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
Okay, so plot hole. Now I did actually go back and listen, because you've had this problem before, but I went back and listened to the dialogue, because the key dialogue is very important. So this is the biological similarity stuff that I think we both think that they're pushing it a little bit with saying the bio what's it called again? It's
bioneural signature.
Yeah, if that much of a match seems a little bit far fetched, and if I just re-listen to the dialogue, Tilly says that the file was Project Daedalus, so the control knew about Project Daedalus, which was a project that had Burnham's mum as its lead designer, so it would know the mum was there, first of all. It would know the mum, like, you wouldn't think Burnham would be the person, because Burnham was a child, and in that timeline, Burnham died. So, first of all, you wouldn't think that the control would make that mistake, first of all, but you're saying that, like you said, that's similar, but... So it says Tilly says the file also contains a binaural signature of the Red Angel. Michael, it's you. Then, a few minutes later, Kolber says, the results are conclusive. Every test shows a 100% match to the binaural signature in Arium's data file. Okay, 100% match. Not anything. 100%. That's the last episode. This episode, Kolber says, and this is going to quote, there are significant biological similarities between mothers and daughters, particularly in mitochondrial DNA.
Well...
So you're saying that they have identical, and that's not similar, 100% identical bioneural. So you're saying that every single mother and daughter share the same bioneural, which would imply that every single mother and daughter in a chain, like, he was 100% certain. 100%. And this is the guy that died, came back, feeling weird, so he's saying having identical biomental signature, to the point that obviously the probe is actually saying it's...
I didn't think he said identical. He said there's...
No, I'm quoting. That's the point I'm quoting specifically.
What was the first part of that?
The results are conclusive. Every test shows a 100% match to the binaural signature in Arium's data file.
And that's in the last episode.
That was in the last episode.
That's because Michael uses the suit at some point, so that's exactly the file that Arium had.
I mean, that's the thing. If that doesn't happen...
It will, though. She'll use the suit. I guarantee you Michael's going to be using that suit at some point.
But it's then weird that they're trying to tell us that... Because that's the thing. Kolber didn't say, well, it must be you later. He's saying, oh, yeah, it's fine, because you and your mother share most identical, therefore it knew. Like, they're buying that as a thing, which means it must make sense, which means that they can be identical. I think
that was a throwaway line for people that don't look into it as deeply as we do.
But that's why I'm saying it's a plot hole until it gets explained. If it doesn't, then it's just they try to make us think one thing and it isn't. I just don't buy that they've got the same brain pattern. I don't think that's logical. And you would think that the computer aboard Discovery would have the mum's bio pattern on file from, working for Starfleet. So you would think it would match with hers, So 2 readings detected, or well, we said 10 readings, 20 readings. It's all the Burnham females for 200 years. All the records we have, it's the same bio signature. Which is it? So I just, just the quotes are very extreme in how confident and yet how blatantly wrong, unless she becomes a Ranger later. But until that point, it's a bit of a plot hole of bad writing.
Yeah, I don't see it as a plot hole. I think it's going to all it'll come out in the wash as to how that happens. But Mike P says, how will she use the suit if Leland destroyed it? Well, he didn't destroy it. He destroyed the time crystal. There's still a chance that suit's coming back at some point. So I'm not too concerned about that.
And Ezri Tegan, Doc, last episode, I'm definitely right. Doc, this episode, I'm definitely wrong. Although,
to be fair, he wasn't a doctor in the last episode. He wasn't wearing his doctor's uniform.
Although he was the one they chose to put down to the planet to do all the doctory things.
Yes, I know, Mike P. I know he blew up the time crystal, but there are other time crystals.
We've seen 2, and
we're gonna talk about that when we get there, I'm sure.
And I'm sure you could use time travel to work out where the time crystals are. Anyway.
Maybe she has an extra stash while she was doing her time traveling that she grabbed a few just in case. And when she goes back, they'll be there. So Eugene puts in 300 rubles. Nerd alert. How does mitochondrial DNA affect neural patterns? By the way, that was not supernova. That was a protostar nebula. Damn, man.
Yes, the nebula is what she saw in the binocular, what's it called? Telescope. Yeah, the supernova was 3 days away, even though supernova was the thing that was causing the thing to be charged. So I guess a 3 days away supernova can charge from across the system. It doesn't quite.
Anyway, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on. Yeah, that's good.
Spock comes
Although,
in.
Hold on. Jamal Taylor says mitochondrial DNA is identical between a mum and daughter. It's clever they did it that way. If it's identical, then she would say it could be Burnham or any of the mum and mum and mum and mum and mum. Like, you wouldn't just, especially since Leland knows the time suit is the mum's project. I mean, you'd put those connections together, wouldn't you? Yes. Continue.
Yeah. Anyway, so Spock comes in and says, "Oh, looks like you're feeling like yourself." And here, look at these logs, which 841 of them. Just so you know. And you're the best person to look after this. Kind of gives her something to do while she wants to see her mom, but she's unconscious. So anyway,
next plot hole. I'm burning through them because they relate to the episode, but yeah, hundreds of data logs, right? Which was good, but they had they're the schematics of the suit, right? And Tilly downloaded the data logs from the suit. And they didn't mention it was any more advanced. So the mother has not enhanced the suit. It's factory setting, right? Because they would have mentioned the suit's been heavily modified. That's one thing we postulated last week, that she might have enhanced it with technology. They didn't mention it. Fair to say it's a completely pre-TOS suit, which we don't think makes sense. So now you are telling me that a pre-TOS Section 01 suit can travel anywhere in time, anywhere in space, and this is factory settings, send out healing tachyon beams, and generate EMPs powerful enough to take out all the tech on a planet. And to quote the helmsperson from the episode where they did that, the technology required to generate electric and magnetic fields that wide should be impossible. And Saru's report was technology far beyond present Federation capabilities. So tech that should be impossible was developed 20 years earlier and can also move time and space, and it hasn't been updated by future tech. It's just factory settings, because that seems, again, a bit of a leap. This time suit can do everything and the kitchen sink. Again, just want to go back to previous dialogue and yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so next scene, we start out with a hologram of Burnham talking to Leland, who somehow got tied up. That was a big plot hole in my opinion. How did Control tie him up using holograms that aren't tactile? Does it have a lackey? And it looks like it may be a different room, or it doesn't really matter. The fact is he's tied to the bed thing. So
I mean,
small thing, whatever. But
we can see this device that injects him comes out of nowhere. So I'm assuming there's multiple drones which might have made a carry. Or to be fair, you could just site to site beam him, I guess. I mean, they can do that. So it's a Section 31 ship as well. I mean, it's the computer. The computer
never thought about that.
A computer with advanced knowledge of the future, like in some small way, might know of more advanced ways of, beaming from, I mean, we've seen people. There's more continuity mistakes. We've seen people go from sitting in a plane to standing on the transporter pad, so you can alter someone's elevation. So why can't you beam from cropped on the floor to sitting on a chair, and then beam restraints onto them?
Well, he's not in a chair. He's standing against the thing.
Is
He's
he?
not sitting. Yeah, he's not sitting.
Oh, you're right. It's not sitting. Oh, but it was.
But yeah, so this is interesting. This is Control talking to him about being able to easily mimic a Vulcan because Vulcans are very non-emotional. So doing a hologram of Vulcan was the easiest thing to do. Here we get an active number of ships in Starfleet. 7,000 active ships in Starfleet is what it said. And it plans to basically issue orders and stuff for all of them and have them follow them. And then it's like, oh, well, there's going to be the chain of command that's unbroken and unwavering. And Control's like, yeah, but even if a small portion of people don't ask questions or just follow orders, I'm still going to get to everybody eventually. And this is also where the Control talks about needing something more than holograms, something that's more realistic, nuanced. That's why it's using Leland to have that more human approach. And then, of course, he gets injected with the nanotechnology. But yeah, quick summary of the scene.
Yeah, it's a good scene. It's a little bit confusing, and again, another plot hole of why does the entire premise behind the Control is that it becomes sentient 100 years in the future and destroys all sentient life. Feels pretty sentient to me now. It's thinking on its own. It killed admirals. It's developing plans. It evaded a station that got blown up. Managed to sneak onto this ship. It managed to take out this guy. Managed to invent technology. Use technology that could control him and link to his brain, use him like a puppet. I don't what more sentient do you want? I think he's pretty much, got it there. I don't know, plot hole, already sentient. And yet they keep saying as soon as we get the data, it becomes sentient. It's like, right. Although we know that, it sent data through the probe to Arium, so we can assume that it gave itself like a nudge in the right direction to turn the Control into something more advanced instantly. But again, I think we've kind of jumped the shark a little bit there because it feels like a completely integrated character of evil AI, done its bit.
I don't think it's sentient yet, though. Not the very definition of sentient. It's super intelligent. It just hasn't achieved that sentient level yet.
Well, what would the distinction be in this case? Because it seems to be doing everything independently and emotively. Like it's not like it's just doing it by logic only. It seems to be being quite clever about things. What would be sentience then if it's not pretty much there?
Self-awareness. I don't know. I couldn't tell you that exactly, but I have a feeling it's not quite at that sentient level yet, and that's what it needs the orb information for.
I think I had another note. It did already get 15% of the database though, which probably helped again, and it gets 45% at the end.
No, 53 or 57.
Oh yeah, sorry, I had that. Yeah, I missed one.
54%. 54% is the final number.
And there's a wonderful bit of interconnected dialogue because the computer knows everything about Leland. Leland knows himself, and it gives us a sense of who he is. It says to Leland, "You joined Section 31 to keep a brutish universe. Sorry, we're not mirror." To keep a brutish universe on its knees, Captain, to maintain order by any means necessary. Your evolution, our evolution, is not a desecration of that oath, but it's very fulfillment. So it's evolution. So he's evolving with him, and that if that is that the point of the Control in the future? Is it is it trying to keep the universe on its knees to maintain order? is that the point? Because why would Control want to destroy all life in the galaxy? I guess then we can't destroy ourselves if it kills us all first. But that's just a plot to several films and TV. It's nothing particularly amazing. But I like the dialogue to express why, because that's pretty dark. Keep on its knees. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Prime 1351. What's in $1.99? Borg, please no. Yeah, hope not. That's all I can say. Jeff Jacobs puts in $3. Okay, I will go again at 125 likes. Make me pay. Jeff, you're amazing. So yeah, let's hit the like button, guys. 233 of you. Let's get the likes up.
Yes.
So yeah, it looks pretty painful getting injected with these nanites. Blah.
Yes.
Doesn't mean they're Borg. I know a lot of people are jumping to that conclusion. I fear for it because, the color that they use, the green, it's very Borg-like.
Okay, but did you think Borg when you saw this moment?
Yep.
See, I
first thing that popped into my mind.
Didn't cross my mind for a second. Not even for a second. I was like, oh, okay. Because we know Discovery uses advanced technology that doesn't exist in the timeline that was invented originally. So of course they have uber advanced nanites that can rewrite DNA and la la la. We'll do another video on that at some point. But I love the shot though, going from outside syringe into a syringe was actually really
cool.
Simple, really simple, overly simple, but in a good way, sort of shot.
Yeah. And Troy Macy puts in $1.99 and says, "Yes, please, God, no Borg." Caleb Horn puts in $5.
Thank you.
The line that was so close to resistance is futile. I think that was on purpose.
I didn't even notice that first time.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
But who knows, man? If they're going that way, I'll be kind of disappointed. But what are you gonna do? You gotta go with the flow. Eugene puts in 750 rubles. Thank you very much, Eugene. It should be 700, not 7,000. Consider 1701, 1227, or 1031. By the way, I hope it was neither Borg, nanoprobes, nor Terminator Genesis stupidity. Well, 7,000 does seem excessive, but as we talked about earlier, it could be all tugs, all freighters, all garbage scows. Every ship in the fleet, including maybe even auxiliary craft and shuttles, could be clumped in that number. Control would consider them ships.
Because originally shuttles you wouldn't consider, but they weren't warp capable, didn't have weapons. But we know the Discovery shuttles have everything, and the transporters. They're ships. They're not shuttles, are they? At this point, what's the distinction? They can do everything else can do.
Yeah, but 7,000 does seem high, especially after the Klingon War, where they lost a third of the fleet.
Yeah,
and they've got to rebuild. So
it's a little bit excessive.
Yeah. Roberto Suarez puts in $5. Season finale, Leland Control ends up in the Delta Quadrant 5,000 years in the past. Anything's possible. We're not going to know for sure until we know for sure, unfortunately. But
I did, to talk about the Borg for a second, I didn't think Borg, but now you're mentioning it with the way that it spreads in his veins, he is very Borg-like. Like that wouldn't have occurred to me first time. I just thought, it's just being part of him, but it is actually, that's pretty specific. They pick these imagery for a reason. But we'll talk about that as a future episode, I'm sure. And they're good acting by the guy. Like, I give him all credit for this episode. He's a solid actor that puts at least a good performance. I'd say believable, but he's hard to relate to, obviously. But he's good. But that's the thing. Discovery has some darn good acting this season. Really. And my goodness, how much we enjoy not having the Klingons talk this in their scenes. But to enjoy all the dialogue in an episode. Makes it a little bit easier, doesn't it?
Yes, I've rather enjoyed not having the Klingons around, but that changes what it looks like for the next episode. Ooh, good music to pick. Chris Come1 puts in $5.
Thanks, sir.
Don't you think Richard Daystrom should be recruited to help at this point? Well, Richard Daystrom is doing his own thing, working on the M5 project.
I would assume M4 at this point.
M4, M3, maybe. Who knows? Yeah.
So it's still a little while till that episode.
And Philip Ingram puts in €5 with no comment, but thank you very much, Philip. Much appreciated.
Super appreciated. This does make the the show
channel go round.
Yeah. So next scene, we get a really good moment. I really enjoyed this one. Although I really think Sarah Peel should be doing this as well as Michael, because she's very, very emotionally like a cop can't investigate their own crime because they're heavily emotionally
Conflict of interest.
Exactly. So this is a little bit, but it's fine. It's nice. And she plays the next reading, which is all recorded on her drones, which are part of the suit for some reason, I guess, to do scientific, but I mean, you shouldn't have drones that had cameras, and you couldn't have footage of her at any point. So you had to make a little. It's a little bit weird, and you see her holographic fake wall suit thing, which I guess is kind of cool with the daughter being in the next room, and then puts a tie. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say this was a great scene. The hurry up and kind of the get the time crystal in there, get the suit ready to go, because what she wants to do is essentially jump back an hour in time to warn them that the Klingons are coming, and basically as she gets in the suit and launches, which is really cool the way the suit powers up. By the way, it looks like a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger thing. Yeah. Go Power Rangers.
A little bit past TNG tech, but it all is. So,
but the Klingons come storming in, and they actually look kind of Klingon-y, which is nice. They got head ridges and stuff, but and they fire, and then she jumps.
Yes.
950 years in the future. Oops.
Oh.
So
slightly off there, Stuart. Did you say 1 hour? Not 100 hours.
Yeah, 1 hour back.
Not 940 hours. She didn't mess the decimal point, did she?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if it was the disruptor blast from the Klingons that maybe affected the suit as it did its first jump, and that could have infused the suit and screwed it up. I don't know. But damn, way to overshoot your... Well, you didn't even overshoot it. You didn't even go in the right direction.
Or
you
the
went in the future instead of the past.
Or maybe the fact that it wasn't tested at all. That might be why. And then not only that, but this first untested jump tethers her now to the, what would that be, like the 32nd century, now tethered there, which she cannot undo for some reason. That's now, an accidental jump has now locked her in this time bubble of existence. Oops. And can you imagine the feeling? Because you know that if all you have to do is go back a few minutes and you can save your family, so therefore they're not dead in your head, are they? Like my kid's not dead, my husband's not dead. I can go back. I will go back and save them. Imagine the emotional disconnect with them having to live days, weeks, months. The emotion just happened, but I'm still in the process of trying to save them. But obviously, for me, it's been hours, weeks, months have passed. But for them, it could have been 1 second, could have been 20 years, as she's forced to deal with in a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Just a good scene.
Philip Ingram puts in another €5. Just watched the episode. No idea what's been spoken till now, but wow, stoked for Star Trek. A very good modern Star Trek episode, I thought.
Yeah, we both liked it, Philip. I just have lots of plot holes that are bad writing, but it's enjoyable. Although, it just needs to be smarter. Like, if it had these visuals, but writers from TNG would be great, would make such a difference. Good writing with good everything else would make a big difference to the show. Which is why the first few are pretty good.
And KG puts in $5 Canadian.
Thank you.
On the other hand, 7,000 ships with an average crew complement of 250 is only 1,750,000 Starfleet officers post-Klingon War. Yeah.
Well, on active service in a ship, I mean, you've got outposts, colonies, Earth. You've got millions more. I mean, that's just an active roster.
Yeah. Troy Macy puts in $4.99. Commander, yes, the Red Angel is a little more advanced than TNG tech. Ian Warrender puts in £2. 100 likes, thanks to the people. Let's try for 200. Yes, let's try to get 200 likes, guys.
Keep liking. Right. Okay, I think another point about this scene. The Klingons. So the Klingons are another little plot hole because they've got no hair, which is they're not at war, so that's a slight continuity problem. Although their costumes are wonderful, I have a feeling that's probably the armor they're going to be wearing now. They just sort of skipped ahead and used their current wardrobe because at least they didn't use Takuma's armor, which is good because they shouldn't. But they're not at wartime. So they shouldn't be wearing it. They shouldn't have no hair. Another little continuity problem of they just, I guess, didn't want to give the makeup time. It's for one shot. Who cares? But it's like, yeah, but you need to do the thing that you try to fix, but guess not. So little continuity problem there, but oh well.
Yeah, the 2 super chats are making me laugh.
Oh.
And says, Borg to be wild. Joseph Patrick really made me laugh. €2. Anti-Trekker said, it is definite proof that women can't drive. Oh my gosh.
I mean, but they can build time suits. They just can't test them straight away, I guess. They are on the attack. They are at war. That's not... Nope. Remember, they shave their head for the... Remember, Jill, it doesn't make sense. We know it doesn't make sense. There was no war at this point. So you're saying, well, every time anyone attacks, you shave your head. Otherwise, that would be a thing that all future Klingons would do. The Enterprise Klingons would do. Sorry, Jill, doesn't work. It's a very lazy retcon that we're never going to see again because it's dumb.
Philip Ingram puts in €5 with no comment. Thank you very much, Philip. Greatly appreciated.
Wasn't this going through time effect though? From the suit's perspective, just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just how do you present that? It's like when we saw Barclay from inside the transporter. It's like, how do you visualize that? Brilliant.
Very well done. Then she goes on to talk about 950 years in the future. Can't stay anywhere in time. She's tethered to this point, so no matter what, she gets retracted or pulled back here. All life is dead. Tellar Prime, Andor, Earth, Vulcan, all gone. And there's a scene of her standing on Earth, and it's just basically ash. It's just nothing there.
Yeah.
So that goes back to the earlier part where Spock had mind melded with her, or with the Red Angel, and all he felt was loneliness and desperation.
Yep.
Because that's exactly why she feels lonely. She's the only living thing besides the people on Terra Elysium, if they still exist 950 years in the future.
Well,
but anyway,
we'll get into that in a bit. That's an easy answer for us.
Yeah. So that's why she feels so lonely. So that was actually very, very well done. Seeing Earth like that was pretty devastating. So, and
it's nice because it's so barren. It tells you that even the buildings have become dust. You know, it's that much destruction. You know, when we saw Daniels take Arch into the future, it was all destroyed rubble and like the Earth has been destroyed, but it kind of felt more modern. This is just like gone.
Yeah.
Rendered to dust. So it's a very uber simple imagery, but actually works better than something complicated, I think.
Yeah. We also find out too that her name is Gabriel Burnham. Like Gabriel Lorca. And it goes back to what Anti-Trekker had been saying, the angels, Gabriel, Michael, from the Bible. So I don't know. That's interesting.
So what you're telling me is that in season 1, Lorca should have met Burnham and said, Michael, that's a boy's name. Gabriel, that's my mum's name. Oh!
Snap. Yeah.
Would have been funny.
Eugene puts in 150 rubles.
Too kind, sir.
Oh. What war was that? Klingons shaved their heads. Yeah.
Now, so following on from this destruction bit, always can't stay anywhere permanently. The anchor keeps pulling me back, which implies she can't turn it off. Because actually, what's interesting is in the last episode, they explain how the suit works, and the anchor is a created thing by the suit. It's a membrane, like it's actively part of the suit. So the one that built the suit, designed the suit, uses the suit, can't undo the one suit's safety procedure to get back to the time.
It could have been damaged when the Klingons fired. That's the only thing I can think of.
She's had enough time to fix it.
If she can, because it's already went to the future. It was disabled or malfunctioning, linked that as to the current time, locked onto it, and now she can't fix it because she can't untether it while she's back in time at the right place. I don't know.
We know she can move stuff. She moved an entire church full of people. So if she wants to move to a department store, steal all the tools, bring them onto her planet, she can obviously get out of her suit at will. Should we see it in the future? She could just fix it. You know, I think, you know what I mean? Doesn't quite... there's going to be something else why she's been tethered. It might even be... Oh,
could be the time crystal's damaged after that jump. It's locked onto that time. There's nothing she can do about it. I don't know. There's got to be a simple explanation.
But that's what I mean. There might even be a deliberacy behind it as well. You know, and also she says there are no life signs anywhere. Antimatter detonations across the galaxy indicate control wiped everything out. So that's just mass. Although again, that confuses me as to how exactly can she travel the galaxy.
Don't know.
And we'll get into that a little bit later as well, because she tells us distances and it's a bit weird. Yeah. Gravity, Stuart. Got some problems with gravity.
Yes. Next scene is the Section 31 ship. This is where Leland's scoping out his plan, saying this woman could be a fake, this could be a fraud, clone of some kind, something. And I love Georgiou's reaction to it. She knows something's up with Leland, because he's, as she says, you're quite resolute today after the whole thing. But during the whole conversation, she was staring at him, and she has the ability to read people really well. So she knows what he's like, and here he's very forceful. He's very on task. Something is up with him. I thought it was absolutely great. So he's got Ash heading on over to Discovery to basically perform espionage on another Starfleet vessel, which Tyler's like, what? You want me to do what? We're Section 31. That's our mission. That's what we do.
That was a very odd moment. It's
was.
Like, sorry, Tyler? Have you seen where we are? You've done this in the season. You've literally done it this season. Why are you...
Yeah.
Very oddly written. This episode, I think, forgets the last episode again, and a few other episodes, like some of the little plot holes later on, just kind of forgets its own... I get the feeling maybe they wrote each episode with, like, here is a plot, here's the next step, write it, but they didn't quite talk to the previous writer as they're filming, so therefore some of the few details don't quite line up every single episode. That's happened a couple of times now. And it's like, oh, you should have proofread it a little bit more. There's one bigger that. What do you think of the I guess Terminator robot Leland, his performance, the difference in performance, or maybe not difference in performance? What do you think?
I thought it was great. I've enjoyed Leland's character and the actor since day one. It's a shame that he's kind of going this way because he's not going to last much longer, I don't think. But I thought the performance was amazing. Good leadership qualities in this one, this version of him. He doesn't seem as, unsure of himself as we've seen before. And I thought it was great. I thought it was well acted, well done. So,
and it was interesting that you're right. Giorgio is so like, oh, you're being so in charge, and he's like, well, we need to be. I kept thinking that, but the entire season has been her going against him and not taking his orders so much and working against his agenda, and now she's just taking it. Like, I feel like...
Hold on one second. You talk for a second.
Okay. So I feel like they've kind of forgotten that was the character dynamic, and they've just said, it's just a bit weird to drop that subplot. I don't imagine she's grown that much as a character. And we missed a scene because Stuart, I guess, didn't realize what happened. The gravity, the planet is... Well, time is fighting back. Gravity waves are starting to appear, and they are... Well, basically, it's trying to pull back... It's the tether trying to pull back Dr. Gabriel Burnham to her own time, and they have to... She's already in the energy containment field, but it's not going to hold forever, and it's an equal opposite reaction situation, so the more power you put in, the more it builds to fight back, and so there's only finite you can do before it rips the planet apart, and so they've got about 2 hours max until Burnham is forced to go into the future again.
Yes. Hi, I'm back.
Hi, Stuart.
Troy Macy puts in $9.99.
Thank
Well,
you.
the suit got maybe damaged. That's why it looked to that time.
At the end, yes. Not at the middle or the start.
Yeah. And then Eugene puts in 500 rubles. How many years did Gabriel spend observing multiple timelines and performing 800 plus time travel missions? Well, they were just all logs. They weren't necessarily all missions, but
Yeah.
what did she eat? Did the suit make her immortal? Not aging. Well, she's probably done this in the space of a few of her years or 20 of her years.
Yeah.
And she eats what's on the planet. She's got a home base.
Well,
so
because they say that she's in the the Gamma Quadrant or the Beta is the Gamma Quadrant. So she's a long way away on a planet that never had any tech, so it never got bombed. Because they only bombed people, so therefore a planet without people, it's got trees, it's got wildlife, it's got fruit, So I don't find that a problem at all. And yeah, my gut would say maybe 10 years max from her perspective, and that's pushing it as well. Because I'm sure she planned time jumps, and that would take time to do the calculate. Remember Anoraks? The calculations are perfect. All that stuff. All that stuff.
Yeah.
So this is a very important bit of dialogue. And I love this shot of Burnham walking through the corridor and people are going faster around her. I think that's going to be stupidly important later on, the concept of fluid time, as this is sort of midway through the mum's log, and I guess she's replicated new clothes as she's wearing a new outfit as well. I guess she's several new outfits, in fact. I mean, she's also got all this new. I guess she's just stealing stuff from the past.
Possibly, yeah.
Because she's got cups and stuff, and it's okay. Although that said, so this is really important. I built myself a home base on an M-class planet 500,000 light years away, and if you recall, Voyager was 75,000 light years away. So really, really far. Mm-hmm. Wherever I jump, the suit will always return me back here. Although, so what? Again, I wrote detailed notes for this. So what is the suit bringing you back there to that time, to that place? So you can alter where the suit brings you back in place, but not in time. Is it bringing you back to the time you left or the time you arrived? So is it just when you jump back, it tells you to that moment, and you can alter that as a place and a time? I guess so. How did you get 500,000 light years away from Earth? I guess this soup? I guess this chicken soup is a device that can travel in time and space. It's a TARDIS suit, Stuart, built in pre-TOS time without any more updated. If this suit can travel anywhere in space, why isn't Voyager using that technology? And if it's also a quantum computer that's infinite space, why isn't Voyager using that technology? It's the most advanced suit ever made, Stuart.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. And everyone Discovery sees the schematics. So it's not like it's the biggest secret ever either. Yep. Then she says, there's no
People are saying 50,000.
Yes. What did I say?
500,000.
Oh, sorry, 50,000. Oh, you know what I meant, guys. Just take out 10. And then she says, no pre-existing technology, so Control can't find me here. Yep, great. I'm safe for now, but Einstein couldn't have been more right. Time's motion depends on the observer, which has a beautiful concept, or on the action. The people I was able to move from Earth to Terelysium, as they call my planet, are thriving. Their survival means that time is fluid. The future can be changed, maybe the past as well. I'll have to believe I'll see you again, my sweet daughter. And so she is actually on Terelysium in 3100s, and she moved the church just to show she could, because if they could be moved from time, then all their descendants would not be born, or whoever survived, whatever those people's impact on history is now gone. Therefore, time changed, and she did it successfully. Now, you could then argue that because there's no existing technology on this planet, everyone died at some point of natural causes. Maybe they killed themselves, but she might be able to use their leftover tech, low-end tech, but still, that's why she might have cups and stuff. Although 800-year-old cups might not necessarily be as good as possible. So what do you think that she managed to go 50,000 light years to Elysium in the Gamma Quadrant to live out her life, and then has been jumping back to the Alpha Quadrant at will? So it's a time and space suit that's infinitely does it not just read really weird and hollow to you, and just like
I didn't even think about it. I thought
it's pre-TOS tech. It's pre-TOS tech. Like, if this suit can do it with no downsides apart from the tether thing, which again is because of the time crystal, not because of the suit itself. It's like, and yeah, someone says the wormholes can also move in space, not just time. So yeah, now they've got a wormhole generator that can go anywhere. So why aren't they using wormholes all? I mean, they say they're unstable, but it's just like, this tech is unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I guess they all died, which is sad. Telesium people died. Sad.
Didn't she say that they were alive and thriving?
In their time, but no tech managed to get her time. Otherwise, she's not living in their timeline.
Probably Craft's planet, though, from the future. Because everything else is dead in that time. Hold on, we got a few super chats here we might as well address. Philip Ingram puts in €10. I agree with the plot holes, but they are trying to right the wrong. Still a long road, but I am more willing to see where they are at the end of the series. Mm-hmm. Commander, you are right, but still.
Oh yeah, waiting for the end of the season to just to bring them up, because this one's filled with them, but hopefully they'll be explained. I'm just like, they have some pretty massive ones.
Yeah. Joe Wright puts in $2. She's on New Eden, 50,000 miles away in the Beta Quadrant.
Light years, not miles. 50,000 miles away is really close. See, we all make easy mistakes.
Troy Macy, $1.99. Craft's planet, and is that where her mama's base is at? Maybe. I don't know.
I think they mention the planet's name though in the Crafts episode. I think they mention more than just random place.
Yeah, but if he's 900 or 1,000 years in the future, names can change.
Sure. Well, it wasn't called Terralisium in the original timeline until she moved people and made a new timeline where people existed there. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Eugene puts in another 150 rubles. Does it mean Craft's timeline doesn't exist yet? Possibly, yes.
Well, because species 8470, all sentient life is gone, so how could Craft and his people exist? Since they're on the head of the timeline of the place that they're at. It's a good point. How could Craft be alive if everyone is killed? Samuel's being really annoying today. Wait to criticise to the end of the season. Have you seen TV and movies? I think you're allowed to criticise Marvel film number 6. Just wait for Infinity War in 15 years, then you can criticise. It's not how things work, mate. Sorry.
No.
Ooh, a Borg wormhole is how Voyager got back in the last episode. Well, Transwarp Corridor, not wormhole. A little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But that's true. I mean, what if the suit's Borg tech? From the future, but we know it isn't. Oh, it's so pretty.
Jeff Jacobs was in $3. Yes, 125. Awesome. I will go again at 200. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Guys, 200 likes. Let's go.
I did think it was cool she was at Terralisium. I thought that was a really, like at least, because that was the biggest question from last week. Everything worked except for the church. And the church is just, she did it because she could. Although, how does a suit move an entire set of people?
Yeah.
Tractor beams,
I have no idea, man. Wormhole.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sunspot comes in and says that your mother has regained consciousness or whatever, or doctors on the planet, whatever. And of course they decide to send Hugh and not the chief medical officer.
I think she's out of the show now because he's back. It's like,
yeah,
thank you, actor. You are a replacement for 3 episodes. Now you're fired. It's like, oh.
Yeah. So she wants to talk to you. Oh, okay, we'll be right down. No, not you. Just the captain. She doesn't want to talk to you. What? But my Moogie. And the sadness. And then the next scene is the it's the ready room, and it's the whole. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. But yeah. So yeah, she might not be herself. She's done something that no one has ever done before. Kind of like me. I just died and came back from the dead, but I don't know. It was just funny.
Well, and also Spock's right there. His brain's been fried. He's done something else that's done, and Tyler. Like, there's now 4 characters that have had revolutionary life changes because of random space tech sci-fi. That's quite a lot for these characters. Did you not think it was weird pace-wise to have 2 very similar scenes? One says, "Oh, you can't come talk to her," and then it cuts the. Like, you've got only about an hour and a half until the planet blows up because of the gravity, or she gets pulled back. Why are you having a second meeting about this? It's like just this scene. It felt very redundant. This scene. It's like she doesn't want you there. Beam to the planet. You know what I mean? Did that strike out to you a little bit as a little bit redundant scene?
Yeah.
But Culber's great in it. He's you can see how him being sane is a helps his acting. Like he was good at his role. He never was not good at being a doctor. You know, he does it so well.
Yeah. So yeah, a good scene, well played. Again, sunlight streaming through the window, but that's fine. John Saunders puts in $5. More advanced than TNG just means more advanced than we saw Starfleet using TNG. That's not to say no private entity has tech more advanced. I don't know about that.
Even Section 31 tech 100 years earlier would be then used by, I think you're pushing it. And Jill Wright says, Pike said, Dr. Culber and Pollard stand by. Pollard is still there. Culber outranks her. No, Culber was never chief medical officer. He was one of the medical staff. Pollard was chief medical officer of the ship from season 1, so I don't think he got promotion between his death and his undeath. Yeah, he was never chief, like Stamets is not chief engineer. He's not chief medical officer. He's just one of the medical staff. Just happens to be in all the scenes. He's a hero character. Oh, PJ's channel. Picard shows up at the end and says, Burnham, we've got to do something about your kids. Come with me back to the future. That's funny. Philip Ingram, €10. It's like the library of it's like the library of Alexandria, or the comparison between Chinese tech and ours. Glass and porcelain, different tech at similar times in history. Don't know if I quite understand that.
It's like Atlantis was very advanced.
Well, I mean,
and then it got all that technology and knowledge got lost to time, so we had to like re-advance. But yeah. Anyway, let's move along. Let's move along home because so he beams down, talks to her, and she's like, I put the orb in Discovery's path to keep the information safe. Good job, thanks for putting that on my shoulders, you dumb shit. And then, so yeah, I know who you are, you're Pike. You're going to soon return to your Enterprise to continue your mission. I could tell you more about your future, but you won't like it. Love that.
Perfectly done reference as well. Perfectly done. It's just gentle.
Pike didn't even flinch. He's just like, we're not here to talk about me. So,
but you can see in his eyes, he was like, moving on. It was a really nicely played moment.
Yeah. I'll deal with that when I get there.
Yeah. With one bleep saying shit. Shit.
We also find out that she knows nothing about the 7 red signals. But the way the line's delivered is very odd. I don't know. Does she really not know about them, or is she just saying that she doesn't? And she does. Because the way she said, I don't have any knowledge of that, was quite interesting. Which,
for me, was one of the best bits of the episode, because as a curveball, it's like, ooh. Because again, it's another thing. How did this amazing can-do-everything suit generate galaxy-spanning, that you can detect, galaxy-spanning signals of epic power? I guess when your time crystal's powered by a supernova, sure, whatever. But, like, that's a hell of a thing. And Spock says in a very soon scene, there might be a third party at work here, we just don't know. And I was like, ooh! Because Burnham postulates that it might be the AI that caused them as a way of counteracting her influence by doing their own thing, or that implies they have time tech, which if they did, I think we'd know that by now. I think we should say they don't have time tech, otherwise they would just...
We got 3 PayPal payments, so hold on.
Holy hell.
Antonio sent $10. Hi, Trekyards. My favorite thing about watching Discovery are why wouldn't Burnham's mother travel back in time, collect the sphere data, and then jump into the future? She should have tried that in one of those 840 attempts. Not sure how I feel overall of the story. Seems like instead of well thought out, complex game of chess, it's becoming a game of checkers. Because even if she went back and got the data, the orb would still exist. I don't know. I'm getting sick of talking about time, to be fair, because there's no real answers.
they're also changing the rule book as we go, which could be part of the master plan. We just don't know yet.
Yeah. Flavius sent us $2 with no questions, so thank you.
Thank you. And
he sent us another $1. Oh, here's the question. Hey guys, just joined the live. Keep up the great work. By the way, the British are coming. I mean, the Borg are coming. It is possible because it is an alternate timeline. The Borg better not show up. They won't, I don't think. Jill Wright puts in $2. Memory Alpha has Dr. Pollard as Lieutenant Junior Grade.
Fair enough.
Badge. Troy Macy puts in $1.99. Then who is the CMO? It's that black lady. I don't know. But they don't know. Because in season 1, he says, I need to go help the chief medical officer with a Endorian tonsillectomy. So he's not the chief medical officer, nor is Stamets the chief engineer. We don't know who these people are. They're kind of important, but...
This is an odd scene as well, because she says, Pike, delete the information. He's like, are you sure that's going to work? And she's like, yes. And I'm thinking, if that is guaranteed to work, why didn't you just time travel into Discovery and say, hello, Michael's mum, we've got a foolproof plan to save the future. I've only got about 35 seconds, but just could just delete the files. Cool. Like, she didn't at one, like, she's now the foolproof solution. She only tells them as she's been caught. Like, what a shitty, like, really? If that, like, she's 100, and then Michael Burnham says later on, if I'm certain it's going to work, it's going to work. And it's like, well, why didn't she suggest that at any point? I mean, it doesn't work, obviously, but the fact that at no point does she bother to tell them, like, as soon as they'd seen the orb, which was many episodes ago, there should be a red angel burst, it should have appeared and given them the easy answer. I don't know why she didn't do that. It seems nonsensical, and that she's so confident. It's like, okay, why are you not being used? Like, there's a weirdly written scene to suddenly suggest a solution which is blatant and months ago, because now you're suggesting it at the worst possible time because you chose not to tell us months ago.
Yeah,
you dumb person. Like, what you can see, Stuart. I think we can all see why she didn't save the timeline. She's not very good at it. It's not because it's difficult; it's because she's not very good at it. Yeah. Do I have a quote here? I don't think I'm at the next plot hole.
Well, Thomas puts in $2 and says, as usual, great analysis, keep it up. Thank you. And Roberto puts in another $2 and says, why does sending data to the suit erase it from Discovery?
I mean, we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. Yeah, her quote was, you want to help delete the sphere archive. Without the data, the AI cannot evolve, even though it seems pretty evolved, and it's already got 15%. And then later on says, you think deleting the archive will stop the AI from evolving? Yes! If you miss something, I'll have no choice but try again and again and again. Okay. Like, again, you should have told them that weeks ago, months ago.
Yeah. Long story short, Ash starts downloading some of the information while they're standing there talking about whether they should delete it. Mm-hmm. They all agreed to delete it. Mm-hmm. And then, no, they can't because it's partitioning itself. It's creating firewalls behind Xeno encryption of a language dead for 1,000 centuries. So there you go.
Bit of a curveball.
It's very determined to survive.
The funny thing about that is that we don't know what the sphere was. We have no comprehension, right? Nothing.
Yeah.
But what I'm guessing now is this data. And this data must be sort of alive. Like, if it's able to self-preserve itself, like, it must have some sort of sentience itself. I mean, also that would make sense if this creature thing was sending all of its knowledge. Well, why wouldn't it be able to send its own brain pathways along with it? If the control AI can send its data pathways into a human, why can't a... You know what I mean? I think we're starting to see patterns here. And at that point then, in terms of deleting it, I think, though, you can transfer it because it's understanding what's happening. I guess that makes sense. But then if it's sort of sentient, wouldn't it then maybe take over the, spacesuit?
Well, yeah, maybe, but
It
yeah,
seems weird that, yeah.
maybe it will and become the Borg Queen. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. But it was
But
definitely a curveball to say this data is actively not letting itself be destroyed. It's like, oh, okay. So we've got 3 bits of sentient life computers in the show, or 2, or just, huh? Okay.
well, as Benjamin says, if the data is sentient, that's why Control wants it to help
Oh yeah,
boost its own sentience.
that was the point. If this thing is, yeah, if it's alive, then infusing it as part of yourself, you've started, it's already alive. But then, whatever reasons and things and bobs. Oh, and then yeah, they suggest the. But I do like how Saru tries not to let it be destroyed. But you would think the death of everything in the universe or in the galaxy is enough for him to say, "Oh, I get it." Like, I get he's just arguing his point, but it's like, Saru, everyone dies. It's not worth it, mate. Everyone, and we were not meant to get this knowledge in the original timeline because she moved it. So you didn't even know about it in the original timeline. It might have been discovered by just the AI in 200 years. We don't know. So it also didn't. It wasn't important to the future of the Federation anyway. It's like, dude, everyone dies, including Chimerians, which is not what they're called. Anyway, and then we get the reason to why Spock, and it's just as simple as because he's him.
It's just yeah.
Because he's him. It's like, okay, cool. Sure.
Yeah, that was a fine scene.
It's gentle, yeah.
Then we get Tyler saying he doesn't want to do this, and we see the gratuitous shot of the wheelchair wheeling by, like even 250 years in the future, we haven't figured out wheelchairs yet.
But we can put heavily almost killed people into robot bodies called Arium, but we can't fix his legs, and we can't give Pike his body back.
Maybe he chose not to take the augments or whatever.
Just like Pike chose not to. That's the problem, guys. You keep doing this, doesn't quite make sense. And the real Zem says data preserved on Discovery is what eventually allowed the ship to become sentient, which is what we've said for multiple months. But now it doubles down because if the data is sentient, again, that's kind of cool actually. Whatever computer it stays in, it creates life. If it's either Control or Discovery, one or the other. So in one timeline it creates good Discovery, and in one it creates the evil. Although since they transferred over 50%, if you include the first 15%, like 60% of the data, does that mean that they've no longer got 60% of the archive? Is the data now split, or did it clone it? If it cloned it, then it wouldn't make sense because you're transferring it to the Red Angel suit, which would mean that if you still had it on board Discovery, then you'd still get it. So now it's in 2 places. So I guess it's now 2 sentient computer datas, I guess.
I mean, maybe, I don't know about you, but when I move something from my C partition or my C drive to my D drive, it stays on both.
Which would make the point of it being sent to the Red Angel pointless.
Yes. But if I cut it and paste it, then I think it still stays on both. I don't remember. Anyway.
It's weird. Oh, dear. And guys, click the like button.
Do it.
Saying. But I like that Tyler's like, no, and Leon's like, okay, fine, good job. It's like, what? Why are you complimenting me? I just made your orders.
You made the right choice. It's like, okay. I love how Ash is having this super secret conversation with a Section 31 member in a hallway.
Yeah. But Stuart, they bought the hallway. They made it new for season 2. They got to use it.
That's exactly right. Oh, anyway. I want to talk to Baby, and then they end up talking, and I didn't make any notes for this because I didn't care. And there's nothing important said.
Oh, there's some pretty bad camera work on the mum. They keep like outdoing her face. And if you look at the color palette, it's so super like grey. Like it's very, very unsaturated and very like poorly graded. It looks far more like camera raw. it's a weird set of clips. Well, I thought it was a good scene, although now we know that she's sort of playing her. It feels like they create drama for the sake of creating drama. That she says at the end, "I was looking after you," and it's like, well, why do we need this scene? It sort of works, but it's like we just sort of use time. Again, it does still feel like there's a certain amount of plot in the story, and having to like split it up into 6 segments. We've only got so much story, so you've got to fill in the gaps with other stuff because there isn't just enough story. There isn't enough twists and turns. This one's a bit better at that. But that's because we had answers for the first time. Mm-hmm. Although, from the perspective of the mum, this must be, I'm guessing from the context, this is the first time she's actually spoken to her daughter in her perspective since she was a child. Did you get that vibe?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how do you play that? I've been going around all of history for the last 10 years, and you've grown up, and like it's a good scene from that. I bought it, which is the point of acting. Yeah, it's a difficult scene.
Yeah. This is also where she says, "I saw you die 100 times. I'll see you die 100 more."
Yes. That's an interesting line, because it means that she's actively changing time again and again and again and again and again at alternate places, letting time play out, seeing repercussions going back, rechanging, and so now we know that the timeline that we're in has been already changed hundreds of times at this point. It's just this big fluid timeline of changing that, it's whatever universe it is, who cares? It's been changed hundreds of times, and we're so far beyond the prime timeline as we knew it. It's just fluidly changing. Now the next scene, they talk about how to what? This is the power scene, but it's either I like science moment. Spock says I like science, which I thought was
yeah. What was that about? I like science.
It's a very trailer line, I guess.
Yeah, but did they use it in the trailer? No,
nope.
I don't think so. Oh, let's see.
Oh, this is getting. Oh, this is when they decide we're going to send the information with the suit into the future, and we have to
Perpetual
power that.
Infinity.
Yes, said it in the episode. Although it confused me because Pike says very matter of factly, "Well, if we do the time coordinates in the future, past her tether, it'll be lost forever." I'm thinking, no, because it'll tether back to 3100.
I thought the same thing.
Like, what are you on about? I know you don't know necessarily how it works, but it's like you haven't solved any of the problems of the suit. He doesn't get it, and we know Control still exists there because she was worried about Control. So it doesn't. Although giving the information after the thing's already evolved is not as big a problem. So it's a bit of a weird scene. Again, they don't quite know what they're doing scene, I think. Although I thought it was a cool idea. Although then the same idea could just be sent into the past, and that would be even more safe, because then, well, I guess, it depends. Or can they just send the suit Can they just send the suit into a sun? Wouldn't that be enough? Because remember, Leland says we'll blow up the suit. Like, that little device is also a bomb. He says it'll blow up the suit. It'll implode. So it's not indestructible. Just blow up the suit then. Why are you creating yourselves a huge problem here? So why do you have to send it to the future? And they're going to try and beam Mama Burnham out of her temporal timeline into their temporal timeline.
Yes.
Transport inhibitors. Well, transport.
IP-Man puts in $15 via PayPal. Thank you. 150 plus likes. Here you go. Question. While we don't want this to be the Borg, can you theorize on how it could work within established continuity?
Oh, God.
It's going to have to be, the timeline's going to have to be reset or erased or fixed or something. So this never actually happened. The whole Red Angel thing is just a fluke that gets corrected. That would be my guess.
I don't think it does fit. I don't think you could make it fit necessarily. I don't know if it can connect, honestly.
Yeah, well, just as long as it's not the Borg, man.
So this was my next plot hole. I haven't got that many. We're pretty much out of them now, which is good. So to save your mother from her space-time requires an energy equivalent of a supernova. But we do have another massive source of exotic energy, the dark matter particles. We may be able to modify a transporter enhancer with dark matter to pierce the time stream long enough to lock onto Dr. Bum and beam her into our time space.
Yes.
Cool.
TNG transport enhancers. They're exactly the same prop.
But they have little dishes like TOS. That's actually cool. I like those. The problem is, though, Stuart, last episode, and I quote, we'd need the equivalent of 12 warp cores to generate enough power to run them. And if we can even locate that much power, it'll always be impossible to control. So it's almost impossible to find 12 warp cores of the power, and if you can find it, to control it. But this week, the next day, we need even more power, like a supernova, which they always said was a billion years worth of a sun. Oh, we have that source power, dark matter, and we can just put it inside a transport inhibitor and beam through time. So why didn't you do dark matter last week or yesterday from your perspective? They completely forgot about last episode when that, and neither. It's funny because last week I even called that out to you. I said, "What a weird thing to call out." We 12 warp cores, boom, solved. It's like, why create a problem and solve it one line later? Like, you must have noticed that. Like, we need all this power. We've got it. It's like, but you need power. And also, they said before, we need to stabilize her in time. We need power, but not enough power. If you've got this dark matter bullshit, as enough as a supernova. That's everything. What are you on about, show? Why do you keep forgetting that your show exists?
They forget. They forget dark matter exists. They forget that Jet Reno exists. They forget that
Klingons have hair.
They forget characters exist from one episode to the other when it's basically like right afterwards. All of a sudden the character's gone for an episode or two and then they're back. It's like that happens quite regularly in this show, unfortunately. I don't know.
It was just amazing that they didn't even like read last week's episode. It's like, and where's the dark matter? The rock isn't in the shuttle bay anymore. So what, did they siphon off dark matter particles as powerful as supernova, just enough to power 2 transport inhibitors for one try, or transporter whatever's? What? And if you've got that power source, why aren't you it like it does? Because the information goes by so quick, you don't notice. That's like another massive. What are you doing? See, it's funny. The one thing I'm fine with is beaming people out of their own time stream. Like TNG and Voyager would do that all the time. That's not a problem to me. That is sciencey nonsense. But forgetting your own logic the next day is dumb. Because I mean, remember in Voyager they beam a guy through a wormhole through 100 years. How is that possible? Although I guess it is through a wormhole. It's a bit more like linear. It's just a tunnel. And that is also what the Michael Burnham used, micro wormholes. But it's just like, if you've got that knowledge, why are they still using warp cores if they have dark matter abilities that can do as much as a supernova?
You're asking the wrong person, man. They've got the ability to do anything with that dark matter.
Until they forget.
Exactly.
It's just you, and he's not even a Section 31 tech, you know. Yeah, so that's one of my last ones, and then we get Leland giving the mission to Giorgio as well, and I like his perspective. It's also kind of weird though, saying, you know, she's a risk to your being the most powerful woman in the universe because you know 2 universes. Well, she knows all of time, therefore more powerful than you, bitch. And it's like, okay, sure, okay. What do you think of that scene?
I thought it was funny, kind of playing on her ego, and it kind of took Giorgio by surprise. I think that he said that because she really didn't consider that. I don't think, but at the same time, I don't think that's the same character anymore. And I think Leland's kind of misreading her at this point because I think she's started to kind of come around to not worrying about that so much. It's hard to say, but. So then she beams down, and this is actually a great scene. She starts downloading the information, walks over, starts talking, and looks at the suit. And I love that this is the whole, it's DNA strand encoded to my DNA. You can't use it, Philippa.
Is that a foreshadow, Stuart, do you think, given that their DNA is identical or their bio is identical? Is that,
Yeah, I think
important?
So. Yeah, I called it. Michael's going to use that suit. And twice in this episode that was kind of referred to, so.
But it's worth saying, unlike season 1, where it was over the top of the head, we're just looking for this stuff. Both references can just go by the wayside. I think they're not so obvious. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're both far apart, and so I give them credit for that. They're a decent setup to probably. I mean, it's going to be a payoff.
Mm-hmm. This is a great conversation these two have. The whole "I've seen you sacrifice yourself for Michael," and Giorgio's like, "I think you're thinking of me from this universe," and she's like, "Nope, I know exactly who you are. You'd be surprised what you would do for the ones you love." Because Giorgio says, "I don't think I can't see myself sacrificing my life to save the galaxy."
That's not what Terrans do. Although I do think it was weird. She referred to the other one as the Prime Giorgio. It's like, that's not what they call them. What do you mean the Prime Giorgio? That's not that's an outer universe explanation. You don't say, well, we're the Prime universe. You're the mirror. Excuse me. Yeah. I'm from my universe. What? Who says you're the original? No. You know. So yeah. But yeah, good conversation. Although we're obviously pushing very hard in the maternal, you know, Giorgio loves Burnham, anything for Burnham, you know. I think it's a little bit, like, doesn't quite connect with how I think they'd really be, even if they had that bond before. Mirror her, you know. It's not quite connecting. Although obviously Leland used that against her a scene ago, saying, well, if the mum's going to take over the mum duty, you're out of luck. And she's like, oh, I care about this. And it's like, okay, sure, I guess. And then the key word, she says, I'm a threat to the mission. That's what Control thinks, which I guess means that she's fought Control in 20 something. I mean, obviously the Control knows who she is. Well, I guess she thinks she's Burnham. So I guess she's fought Control and knows that she's a threat, I guess. Yeah. Although you would think a time-traveling entity would be more of a threat. But the fact that it hasn't destroyed you would be enough of an indication that it's not that much of a threat. You know, because you give Daniels a mission, he's already back. You know what I mean? That's the point. Time travel starts and ends before you even know it starts and ends. But a good scene anyway.
One thing I got to say is I love the way that Giorgio's wearing her. First of all, she's wearing her badge, which is great, and I love that it's tilted. I think that's fantastic the way they did that. It looks really good. So
it's real gentle, but it's fun.
Yeah. Did we read Eugene's comment there?
Don't think so. We're a little bit behind, I think.
Okay, yeah. So Eugene puts in 250 rubles. Could it be that the sphere's data is not just data, but also virtual reality program with consciousness of an entire population of sphere civilization? Possibly.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
That's a good sci-fi thing to say. Yeah.
Ian Warrender puts in £5.
Hi, Ian.
Stepping out, leaving you in the capable hands of Jeff, DJ, and Ralph. Everyone hit like and make more super chats. Thank you, Ian. Much appreciated. And Greg Ken puts in $2 No comment. Sorry I'm late. Well, sorry you're late is a comment in and of itself. So,
welcome anyway.
But thank you, Greg.
I think I had a note about this scene. No, it might be the next scene. Let's see. I like science. This is it. Yeah, I think that's I haven't got anything there, but it's a good scene actually. And Giorgio, they give, I think, the actress is fine. Michelle Yeoh, she's fine, but actually she kind of plays she plays the deeper level stuff better than the outer level stuff. So in this scene, she's playing a role. She's playing a plan within a role. She's been talked to in a genuine way and responding in a genuine way, and you can kind of see it all in her face. So she's better as not a mirror universe evil person, and she's not very good as the original Giorgio, being overly happy and I'm just happy, and it's like, go away. So she's better at this because she's like thinking and quieter and not just being maniacal. She's very like introspective, actually.
Yeah. Jamie says, "Isn't it a little early to have a comm badge?" Well, you must have missed the whole thing earlier, like 4 episodes in, 3 episodes in, with the Section 31 comm badges. It's just more advanced tech because it's Section 31.
Stuart, is it also too early to have shuttles have transporters?
For that size, probably yes. But if we say yes, people are going to nitpick and say that it's possible.
Yeah, Discovery is a show of everything, everywhere, all the time. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, they don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, they realise that Leland is, I guess. I mean, I don't think she'd jump to, you know, therefore taken over by Control, but, you know, dodgy, and the plan starts, I guess.
He glitches out. His face goes all glitchy with the veins.
It was cool.
It was cool. I think Giorgio changes her mind. She shuts the thing off, which I really liked. This kind of, and this back and forth with Tyler as well. This, you know, if you betray me, I'm going to hunt you down and kill you slowly. Well, I've already died once, so this way I'll just be able to enjoy the scenery. It's like, thanks. And she got a nice laugh out of that, so that was good.
And Jeff Jacobs says, "Com badge was the first used in TNG. Yes and no. First used in TNG, yes, but they're actually the first time they were seen in the canon timeline is the Enterprise C. They were new for the Enterprise C.
Yes, because they had this style, but they were comm badges.
Yeah, which was quite cool. It was amazingly subtle to the point that Rick Sternbach didn't even know that was a thing. I had to point it out to him like last year. Yeah. It's real subtle, but it's nice. It's actually like that fits quite well. Yeah.
So this is great. Tyler's. I love Tyler and Giorgio working together. I think that's great. Then we get the whole. I saw you in your white graduation dress, and I saw you when you beamed aboard the Shenzhou. I've been watching you like a pervert. But anyway. I didn't write any notes for this either. I'm just going by the pictures because this is like, hey, we're happy because we love each other and moving along.
Okay, I think the scene's really well written, and the dialogue is really nice, and the acting's really nice, and the unlike Into Darkness, this is actually kind of earned, even just through one scene, pretty much. You know, they've polished up a few things. They really had to show Ariam earlier in the season actually as a character, and they need to have shown this stuff. And just set up as part of a backstory, like you know, after the war, she's traumatized. She sees flashes to her past. You need both these things as setups, but considering the poor setups, this is actually a really good scene. Now, my problem here, and I called it one of my plot holes. Her mum was at all these events. How? I watched you the first time beamed aboard the Shenzhou. What?
Yeah, you couldn't see the Red Angel.
I don't understand what you mean by that.
I thought the same thing. Like, how could she be observing? Because every time you see the Red Angel, you see the Red Angel. It's a physical entity,
and it creates a micro wormhole with massive tachyons.
Yes.
I would think Vulcan would notice massive tachyons. Always around Burnham. It's like, wow, here. Wow, at this woman's graduation, her first step. Her first book, always around her house. Like, I can buy the graduation because she could zoom in, I'm sure. But the thing can't cloak. Like...
Yeah, exactly.
Like...
Well, unless it can, and we just haven't heard that yet.
I mean, it probably can cloak. Why not? But I don't... Like, so what? You're telling me the Red Angel wormholed into the transporter room and they just didn't see her? It's like, don't turn around. We know there's an angel character here. We're just not going to look at her. Ignore this big glowing red creature. Like, what a stupid like, the scene's great from an emotional point of view, but it makes no sense. Like, any sense. Like, none. Because she's tethered, her and the suit. She doesn't even need to be in the suit. But even if she left the suit, Like, do you really want to be out of control for a vortex to open up and above you and like, would you? It's a oh my goodness, it's emotional. That makes no sense, and they don't even think it makes sense.
Yeah, but it's a nice touching scene to think that she had been following her life.
I was kind of hoping that we were gonna get like refilmed moments, like pick a couple of actual moments that she could have seen. Like I saw the Battle of the Binary Star, and as Burnham like flies out of the out of the thing, you see her like be there and send some energy to reinforce the shield. So it does so it's like, well, they're in a space battle. No one saw the Red Angel. Like actually invent her in a few places she could be, rather than in a transporter room at the time where everyone saw you or didn't. It's a daft scene, but beautiful, but nonsensical.
Yes. Eugene puts in 350 rubles. How did she watch her? Red Angel suit is too advanced even for space opera now.
Yep. It can do anything.
See, that could have been cool to see a shot of her in space.
Yep.
And then pan across, you see Vulcan, and then you see zoom in on the helmet, and all of a sudden zoop, it zooms in, and you can see her.
What would Bender eyes go?
Yeah, exactly.
Although to be fair though, she could have sent her little drone things.
Ooh, that's yeah.
Although again, to be in the transporter room, because then you still have to wormhole into the ship to leave them, to wormhole out the ship, and you're telling me that no one noticed massive chronotons. And you would think
she could have wormholed farther away and had the little drones enter the ship via the little plasma duct or whatever,
through the
and
shields?
sneak in. Well, the shields wouldn't be up; they weren't at red alert or anything.
Yeah, but through deflector shields though, like they're there to stop asteroids and stuff hit you, and you would assume that
Yeah. They only use those when they're moving. I mean, the ship.
Hey,
wasn't necessarily moving.
Hey, I guess the species 8472 can climb on Voyager and no one notice, and now have no shields. I guess that's fine. But that would have been kind of nice to see, like I said, refilm those scenes, but have the drone. Mm-hmm. That would have been like you gave yourself a reason there. Yeah.
Okay, now, then the stupidest thing in the world happens.
Really? We have some pretty stupid stuff already.
For a Section 31 agent, or for a Klingon, or for a human, or for anybody with half a brain cell,
okay,
who walks into a room and only looks one way? First thing I do when I walk into a room, especially in a video game or whatever, where I'm looking for some trouble, I'm like, whoop, whoop. All right, now I know where to go. None of this wander into a room and face this way when the bad guy's right behind you.
It was a tad odd.
A tad odd. It was a tad stupid. I mean, not even a tad. It was a lot stupid.
I think it was bad direction.
Yeah.
But now, this is fun, because it was so hard to see in the episode, but let me now zoom in. Although my Premiere is really erroring here. So this is Leland on a chair, I guess turned off. And his face is not doing great. Like, it's unforming. Originally, I thought there was like a wire, like going to that like circle thing behind him, like it was like transferring information, powering him, whatever.
You know what I just noticed too? Behind him, there's a round thing, like a Borg alcove, only not up, and then up is the scan of his head. I mean, you combine those two things. Please, God, no.
Yeah.
Eugene puts in another 150 rubles. I guess it was Temporal Observatory, more compact than Daniel's one. Yeah, maybe. Sure.
Yeah.
But no, this scene really bothered me, the way that Tyler entered that room. It's like, really?
And Grid Cube says a wonderful comment. He's a freaking Klingon warrior and a spy and a security officer, for God's sake.
Yeah. And a human being. And someone with eyes.
That's a great... And someone who knows he's going into danger, possibly.
Yes.
That's a great point. That's a great point. But I like what this visual gives us of him. Like, why black eyes? Why... Like, it's a very distinct... Like, I'm trying to... You know what I mean? It doesn't connect to anything, but then that interests me. And then he's like, what? I'm not going to raise my gun or anything. And his skin, like, reforms. So I'm guessing that his... his biology is getting maybe rewritten as well. Although I guess nanoboobs can come out of his pores, but if his face is undoing and redoing itself, I guess is he John Connoring, where all his body is now just like it felt very.
Later when he's getting shot too, it's very Terminator Genesis-y, and it's like, ugh, stop.
I didn't even notice it, but when you said that in our first review, yeah, literally it just like T1000 just. Hey, I'm fine now. Hey, I'm fine now. It's really like, oh, you're doing that now, are you? I don't mind it, to be fair, but it's like, oh, you're doing that now. But the thing is, this is almost more advanced than Borg. I mean, it really is. You can be shot, and your nanoprobes regen your body instantly. Your face can be undone. Like, Borg nanoprobes are there to fix stuff and build tech. They're not as advanced as this. Like, this is more advanced, and you know, he's not like whatevering, but you can shoot a Borg, dead. You shoot him with kill, doesn't do anything, doesn't do a single thing. This is more, so you know what I mean? They're beyond Borg tech at this point. And I wouldn't even be surprised if this thing can send nanoprobes at someone else and also connect him to the hive mind of control. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a thing.
When they were having their fist fight, I half expected Tyler to get an open sore, and you see like a punch and some nanoprobes like zoom in and like enter his system. I half expected that during that fight. Didn't get it. It doesn't mean that at the end where we see Tyler in the escape pod that he is not now control or being controlled by control.
Dude.
But that whole fight, that's the only thing I was thinking was all it takes is like an open wound to get those nanites into his bloodstream. So. Yeah.
And seriously, I was blown away. I thought Tyler was dead. Like, I thought, we'll get into that in a minute, but I was really blown away. He's in an escape pod? You're saying he managed to crawl out of a bridge with officers.
After being stabbed.
Out of a bridge with officers there. I'm sure Leland walked out and said, Tyler's an enemy. I guess he could have sight to the escape pod, but why would they let him... Like, the computer let him send this distress call. Like we'll get into that in a minute, but I love that idea. I love the idea that he's infected. That explains a lot for me. Although we missed one super chat apparently from Victor Garcia. I did catch that, don't worry. She could have seen it via Spock's mind meld. As in referring to seeing all of her famous instants. Although Spock wasn't there at her graduation.
He wasn't there during the Shinjo thing.
Yep, or the graduation, and then she wasn't really there, was she? She was in Spock's memories, and I don't think he gave her memories in a mind meld. I think he took memories. Love the idea, but not sure it quite connects. Yeah. Sorry.
And Caleb Horn puts in $10. It could be in reference to the 100th of times she's seen Michael die. She's seen dozens of potential or aborted timelines and could have seen a lot before she changed something else again or started over.
Great point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she already died once. You know, she originally died, so the fact that she saw the Shinjo meant that she's seen an alternate version. Although, at what point do you become disassociated with your own daughter? Like, I've seen her die 100 times. This is not my daughter anymore. My daughter died on Vulcan that first time. I've saved her 136 times. Like, her life has been so affected by my incursions that, I mean...
Well, that's basically what her mom says to her at the beginning of that conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not the same person. I'm not the same person I was when I left you. Basically implying the same thing, right? So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Eugene. So he's not Tyler Vock. He's Tyler Vock 3 out of 10.
No, he's 2 out of 2 so far.
It's true. But I love that. I love that comment so much. And that stab, what a great CGI stab effect. You know?
Yeah.
Like it was visceral. It was good. Although again, but how does Tyler get a call off? Control is the ship. Why is Control letting him phone Discovery?
I don't know.
Why?
Because he used his comm badge.
If he didn't,
and they didn't block it.
But I guess he wants them to see that. I guess. No. And Leland beams down, and we get an action scene. And this is when I was 100% convinced. 100%. After Tyler was shot, was stabbed, it looked very fatal. Although modern tech can heal him, but I thought he wouldn't be found. Like you'd lock the door, he'd bleed out. Yeah, it wasn't so much he couldn't be healed, just that this situation. And then they shoot all these security officers again. They're red shirts, but blue shirts. Everyone's blue shirt. And I was like, okay, this is going to escalate, continuously escalate to the point that we cannot go on unless we go back. I was convinced that that was the only reason we could take it to this level. Which is why I thought it was a good action scene. You know, it was one of the better action scenes, I thought. I was waiting. It was like very kind of anticlimactic. I was like, yes, we're going to get the moment when Michael's mum dies. Michael goes into the suit. She's like, I'll go back 1 hour.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm in 1630. I missed it by 300 years. God damn it!
I'm really bad at this.
We're all bad. Why is every Burnham bad at being a time traveler? But no, this happened. He goes in, kills lots of people. Quite a cool shootout. But
look at his phaser. It looks very reminiscent of something else. It's not the standard Discovery phaser. It does seem like more like the one from Star Trek 3, a more advanced version of the Star Trek TOS phaser.
Oh, do you not remember? This is the Section 31 phaser that we've seen in...
I remember, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody else saw the parallels between that one and this one.
It's a good-looking phaser.
It is.
It's basically just the assault phaser of this time, and I'm all for that.
And I love when he
straps
them both to his legs. That's really cool.
It's subtle things. Whoever directed this action scene is good at action. Because it's pretty visceral, but he gets shot a lot. And these are all kill blasts. They're not blue, they're red. These are all like shoot to kill. Which is weird because did they at what point I guess they didn't warn, because there's no sense they warned the crew. He just beams down and starts killing people, but wouldn't you stun, your Section 31 captain first before killing him? Like, it escalates instantly. You know what I mean? They don't know he's taken over. Like, they know not well. And all Tyler said is Leland is like, well, you don't know anything. So maybe stun him and not kill him.
Yeah.
I think we maybe missed a scene or something. They cut a few seconds out of the edit.
Possibly.
Why are you laughing, Stuart? What did someone say?
No, I'm not laughing. I'm not.
Okay. And then I don't know if it caught you out, but when Leland pulls out his gun, it he doesn't actually pull it. It teleports from his back into his hands, and I'm like, it's really disconcerting. I think they forgot. I bet he's already holding the gun, and they VFX it onto his back because the edit didn't work. Literally, the gun's there, but he pulls it out of his front in a weird fade motion. It's really jarring. It's really weird.
I didn't notice that. I'll have to take a look.
It's obviously some sort of VFX to hide an edit, because it's
yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Well, that's a pretty powerful rifle because it slices right through the containment field and straight through the suit, smashing the time crystal in the back of the suit. So right away I'm thinking, okay, this thing can't now return, even though it is tethered. But apparently the time travel is only to get back in time, not to return, because the return trip is via the wormhole tether.
Yes.
But the initial time jumps are the crystal.
Yeah, so the suit isn't responsible for the tether once the tether's already set up.
Yes.
It's like, what? But didn't it seem odd that, okay, he shoots through a force field. Okay, it's a very focused beam. I guess I can buy that. It shoots the suit. It ignores the suit and only hits the crystal through the suit without damaging the suit. The front's fine. You see it later on. The front is unaffected by a massive phaser blast. It just cracks the back of the suit. And not even the back.
You do see.
Just
the
crystal.
The front is fine. That is weird.
It doesn't. Please explain to me how this beam does this.
I'll explain anything in Discovery.
It shoots, and you would think that the suit, okay, it's been EMP'd, the crystal being EMP'd, but you would think it would have systems, although it's been reactivated because it downloaded the data, it would have a shield on the time bit. Because if one simple gun blast can destroy it, I mean, it's a Section 31 super laser, whatever. But it's the suit really should have been...
I think the shield would be at the back of it, covering it from the exposed area at the back.
Oh.
Not necessarily from the front. Besides, the suit's not being worn, and it's kind of powered down right now. It's just sitting there, all maquette style.
Why didn't they vaporize the front of the suit then?
Magic.
Because we still need... magic to make the saith man go mad. There you go.
Right. It even ties into another
It does.
exactly time travel episode. Perfect.
But I think they forgot and they just didn't remember to turn it round, because it would have worked better if they just turned it round. Because they were like, well, damn, we need the suit next week. How do we destroy the crystal? He'll shoot energy at it and shatter it, but not the suit, through a force field, but the force field's still up. I'm pretty sure oh, yeah.
People in the chat are saying she fell out of it, so obviously there's no front to the suit. So I don't know if you want to show a picture of the suit after the containment field is going down, because it's still standing there and there's no damage to it.
It's fine. I mean, because it gets beamed up without power. I mean, yeah, here it is.
It gets sucked up, yeah.
I mean,
and I'm like, okay, the suit's gone.
It's totally fine. It's even got power on. You can see the red blinky still on. I mean, it's absolute. I mean, here it is again, completely fine. It's a bizarre plot hole, nonsensical thing, and then it shatters. And although you would think this time crystal with the power of a supernova would shatter and cause more than a little. Maybe don't shatter it, or maybe it could have caused some sort of time wave. Like, wouldn't that have been cool if all of time slowed down? It was like, and then part 2 was Q coming, like, this is weird. It's unstopped time.
Well, the weirdest thing for me was the suit went back up, and I'm like, okay, well, she's stuck here now, and nope, she goes up too. So she can survive this trip back to the wormhole without the suit on, which kind of took me a little bit of shocked me a little bit, but. Whatever, I guess.
Way back tech. Don't let yourselves get bogged down with such things. But then you're letting any show do anything stupid. So what? So if something's stupid, you just let it fly, but then do you not give credit to smart things like Game of Thrones? I mean...
And Graham Evans, we are getting there. Don't worry.
Dan23, maybe the rifle's turned to the shield frequency and go through it. And through the entire suit? But I like, Brian says, the suit is in a dimensional flux. So's the time crystal. So why did it hit the time crystal then? Why is the thing that causes the flux not out of flux?
Flux and flux.
Yeah. Self-healing suit, just not the crystal. So now the suit has infinite regen, as well as time travel, as well as EMP, as well as... I
can see that. Some kind of nano repair technology. Sure, I could buy that, actually.
Although if it's powerful enough to go through a force field and blow up a time crystal, through the core of the suit, the circuitry which is connected to the time crystal, you would think that was the most important circuitry in the entire suit. And for it to self-repair instantly. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I guess Pat this point. Yeah, she disappears. Whoop-de-doo.
Oh,
Leland, we gotta beam out the landing party. All right, beam all 4 of them up, and then shoot photon torpedoes out of our nacelles.
You caught that, did you?
Yeah, and I thought I saw it last night in my live. Jamal said that they were coming from the wings, and I'm like, they're definitely not coming from the wing struts. They're definitely coming from the nacelles. And so that kind of sets the precedent that those 2 smaller ones on each nacelle, because there's the big one in the middle, and then there's 2 smaller ones. Those are each torpedo launchers now.
Really massive torpedo launchers, because the ship's massive. Stuart...
And that's the safest place to put them, too, right in your nacelle.
I feel like the VFX team did a boo-boo here. And
they're just trolling us fans. They're like, these guys are going to complain about this, and we're going to watch their reviews and laugh and laugh and laugh.
The director didn't catch it. The people who proofread, watched it, didn't notice. Like, we've seen them fire torpedoes in season 1 from where they fire torpedoes. We've also seen them do tractor beams from the phaser emitters, but that I can slightly more buy. So now canon, they fire torpedoes from their nacelles. Like every good Federation ship fires torpedoes from their nacelles. Yet another stupid mistake of Discovery. That was like a weird standout.
It's not a mistake. It's been a thing. It's always been... Torpedoes always come out of the nacelles. Haven't you been paying attention?
Oh, sorry. In the post-Michael Byrne death reset timeline where the sphere... Right. Because of Michael Byrne's alive, torpedoes in the nacelles. Yeah.
Anyway.
But I will admit, though, the moment that, Michael, the shield's finally down... She tries to grasp the hand. That was genuinely a nice moment. It tugged at my heartstrings as it tugged at her body. Although 1 second later, I'm thinking, okay, the suit can go back to a wormhole, an unstable wormhole, How can this woman go through unstable... Like, she's... Because they also say in an episode, her tachyon levels are returned to normal. So she's not special. The suit is special. She's just a person. And she's just her. How can she survive a wormhole?
I'm pretty sure she didn't die going back through. Somebody
I hope
said
she
she's
did,
obviously... I mean, some people are saying she's obviously dead. I don't think she is, though.
No, she's such a good character from one episode. She can't be dead. That makes no sense. Oh, and also this Section 31 rifle looks exactly like a Peacekeeper rifle from Farscape. It's really similar. Like, 85% similar. It's really strange. So, fire torpedoes, but no, Leland has beamed up Section 31 ship. It's warped away, and because some people do it and some people don't, they mask the warp signature, which is that easy, and yet most people don't do it. Stuart, why didn't Lorca mask the shuttle's warp signature and not get kidnapped by the Rel?
Because reasons.
Stuart, why didn't... it's sometimes that easy, but it's like, if it's that easy... Stuart, why didn't Spock mask his warp signature? Why is it in a shuttle?
Because Eugene gave us 150 rubles.
Oh, nice.
Crystal goes boom, screens turn black, the man trap intro begins.
Yeah.
Yes. And then KG puts in $5 Canadian. Somewhere out there, Captain Braxton is in tears with all these time travel violations. LOL. Eric
Lindenley, did the Enterprise D fire phasers from its nacelles? Yes.
No, fired one from the deflector.
Right. Because it has phaser emitters. Which ship has phaser emitters on its nacelles? I mean, I know the refit the D does. Doesn't a ship have phaser emitters on its nacelle, like a phaser strip?
Not that I can think of. No, just the Galaxy X.
Yeah, but no, it didn't fire from its nacelles. And the things deflector you can buy as well. It's got massive emitters. Like I can argue.
Yeah. Even though Rick Sternbach said that was a visual effects error.
Yeah.
But still, yeah.
And then it ends with chess. Spock talking to Burnham. I didn't make any notes because I didn't.
Let's see if I did.
Hold
on. I just put torpedoes out of the nacelles, really? And then this is where we find out 54% of the sphere data was downloaded. That's the last note I have.
That's a lot. Plus the original 15%, which I think they've already forgotten about that first time around.
Well, it could be part of the 54, though. Because usually when you start re-downloading something or copying files, it starts from the beginning. So who's to say that it didn't do that?
I mean, that would explain why it didn't make him evolve any quicker. Although I like to think that it's now more evolved because it got the first 15%. Although it seems weird that because you have the data, therefore evolved. You would think it's the teachings inside the data which you learn evolve you. It's not just the fact that you have the data. Otherwise, it just makes sentient machines by having it? That seems odd to me. And then why did the mum say, "When the time storm has passed, I'll come back and find you"? What's a time storm? What?
And when did she make that log as well?
What? Time storm? What? You're the one that's traveling time, no one else.
Well,
you are.
Earlier, when I shared this, one of the German followers of Trekyards said in German, and the episode's title translates to Time Storm. So
cool.
But yeah, like, where did that log come from? She wasn't communicating with her real time. It must have been one of the downloaded logs, 841.
Oh yeah. She didn't watch them all, did she? So I'm fine with that. It's just she's got content with her mum. Why wouldn't you watch them all? And that's fine. And then Spock says at the end, all of history can change with our next move, and that isn't the future. That's the past as well. That's a distinctly said line, because they do talk about we'll change the future. All of history. That's interesting. I know that, as Kurtzman said, they're doing a massive shake-up at the end of the season, so I think they're going to change the entire timeline again.
Which I'm fine with.
I think we're thoroughly fine with.
As long as it's done properly.
Yes. And that was all of my plot holes. Huzzah.
It only took us 2 hours and 8 minutes.
That's pretty good considering, actually, I think. I think that's all of my notes. Well, I don't like the fact that the Red Angel suit has almost limitless quantum computing power, literally infinite storage. It's like if you had that pre-TOS, every ship should have that. You know, Tilly has looked at these schematics. She knows this thing exists. The first ship she goes on to next, she'll be like, sir, can we maybe use that secret Section 31 tech that I know exists to improve our computers? What, Tilly? Oh, nothing. I won't let us use stuff that's hundreds of years less advanced. You know, it just... I mean, do you think there could still be a sense that the suit's plans could have come from the future to allow it to be so capable, so unbelievably overpowered, so absolutely unbelievably from pre-TOS that maybe not the mum, maybe just the inspiration for the technology came from the future? Like, again, and they're just hinting to us that it's so overpowered. You know, she's not from the future.
I don't know. I don't think they've really thought about it. It's just like, here's a suit that exists. Who cares when it was made or what technology it has? It's like it's a plot device. It's not really thought out to be fit into the universe.
And I think TNG doesn't exist anymore. You know, with the tech that exists in this timeline, TNG does not. Guys, we're not getting to even TMP with this. TMP's rebooted, TNG's rebooted. Like, none of that stuff exists now. This is not gonna go into the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's it, guys.
Raj says there are phaser arrays on the Galaxy classes on the bottom side of the pylons.
Pylons, yes.
So it looks like it's from I meant pylon. So your final thoughts then for this episode?
Like I said, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
The pacing was fine. I give it a. I struggle between 7.5 and an 8, but I settled at a 7.75 out of 10 for this episode. A lot was done and said and accomplished, and yet very little was done and said and accomplished. It was really weird.
Which has been the last 3 as well.
Yeah.
It's been, and also it felt like quite a cheap episode, but better cheap. Like the character stuff was more, because when it's meaty plot stuff, it's just talking, but it's good talking, you know. So I mean, they've definitely cheapened out these few. And there's very few VFX, very few reuse of sets for pretty much everything. Once you build it, you know, multiple episodes, which I think was great. I think it felt like a cheap but exactly right in its own sort of thing.
Yeah, and Sean Pullen puts in $5 Canadian. Could Dr. Burnham have added some of the suit tech from Future Tech? Yeah, we talked about that earlier, but
we thought so, yes, from last week, but we know it couldn't have because Tilly specifically examined the suit and found the information, and she has schematics of the suit. So she would have noticed suddenly more advanced tech. So no, they didn't mention it, and omission that big is a sign of no, it's not from the future. It's exactly from the TOS tech, and you would think they would like insist to study it if it's from the ultra future. And with the destruction level of Earth, I mean, it's just flattened. I would assume that the creatures would just bomb everything to dust. There wouldn't be like lavish tech cities remaining, given the evidence we've seen of just destroyed. So for me, you know, it's weird. I think this episode's really fun. Like, you know, there's lots of problems with it plot wise, but it's a really fun episode. I like most of the scenes. I like how much plot is in it. I like the little things, I like the big things. I like the tech stuff. I like the character moments. I like, you know, no one does anything stupid except the obvious little things, but they work in the context of the moment, which is kind of fun. They do work. But now, you know, in our review earlier today, Stuart, I said plot holes galore. I mean, do you see where it was coming at with all the plot holes?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do. Some of them I kind of didn't even notice or really think about because it just fit the story narrative, and I just didn't really think about it. But
yeah, it burns through it quite quickly. You don't think, but that's the thing. Even with massive holes, some of which will be answered, I'm sure, it still works. It's a well constructed episode. You know, I'm kind of shocked how much I like it given the problems. But also it's one that I think the fact that we're watching it week by week helps because we don't remember the dialogue from last week. We do because we reviewed it, but if you don't remember the power problems from last week, this week's fine.
I forgot about them until you pointed them out.
I think if you binge watch this show, it'll actually be weaker because same thing. they make Red Angel seem so unbelievably overpowered, and it's someone from the future and all this tech. Oh no, we built it 20 years ago. Oh. You know what I mean? If you watch episodes 1 to 6 and then quickly... Like, if you watch it all on a weekend, I think you'd think, well, damn, this doesn't... Really? You're saying this tech's impossible 5 episodes ago, but we managed to invent it 20 years ago. I mean, yes, Section 31, sure, but they're not magic. If they're magic, then TNG can't exist, you know? There's limits to that sort of stuff. Otherwise, what's the point? You know, otherwise Section 31 in DS9 time, you really think they had problems dealing with the Romulans and the Dominion? Like, if they kept on the same progressive line of technology to the point where Discovery era technology in Section 31 isn't even matched by TNG, then how far is Section 31 DS9 time? Why is there a war? Why aren't they, you know what I mean? You can't, it doesn't work. It doesn't connect. And if you want to be very literal, the Section 31 tech in JJ verse, which still is concurrent up until a certain point, doesn't seem that much more advanced, does it? Some, but doesn't seem like absurdly. Where's their time travel suit? The Kelvin's after this, isn't it? Or no, the Kelvin's before this, but this suit was built before the Kelvin, because Kirk is still in his 20s in 09.
Yeah, he's late 20s, I think, in 09. But was the Section 31 suit built in the Kelvin timeline? Was that commissioned then? And Michael Mann's mum? Probably.
And then the Kelvin happened, and it's like, ooh. So what do you guys think? What are you going to give it out of 10? Let us know now. And please do let us know. I'm very interested in seeing... And Wayback Tech says, I think the first half of the season was way better than the second half is shaping up to be. Thoughts, Stuart?
I agree.
Yeah.
I kind of like the episodic nature of the first half of this season. They've kind of scrapped that now. These aren't really episodic anymore. They're now like parts of a story, and it's always like a cliffhanger at the end. And it's one of those things. The mystery is always more fun than the actual reveal in most cases. So now we know who the Red Angel is. It's like, oh well, whoop-de-doo. So yeah, that's kind of where I sit with that.
What have I said so many times is that if a payoff's not amazing, the setup, doesn't matter how good the setup is, it falls apart. And it does amaze me how little story we've had in the last 4 episodes. Like, it's been one small little doop, doop, doop. I think like they ran out of story. And yes, they're going to character stuff. And also ran out of money. I think that's also probably why. They're probably like trying to spread out the budget really thin. They're doing mostly character stuff. They're probably to like lower this. Because imagine though, Alex Kurtzman takes over the show. They say, Alex, yes? You've got 11 million to make the rest of the season. Sorry, what? That's 2 episodes worth of money. We know. Oh.
And
you know,
Brian, it's my 7.5 rating is Discovery rating.
Oh yeah.
As for a Star Trek rating, probably like 6. As for sci-fi, it's pretty good. And if it's taken out of the Star Trek universe as a sci-fi concept, this would be great. I'd probably give it a 8.5.
Yeah,
So,
if this was not a Trek season, it'd be a damn good season with really cool time travel stuff.
yeah.
If it started from 0, yeah.
Troy Macy puts in $1.99, 7-ish is what he gives it. And Eugene puts in 300 rubles and says, didn't like it, way too many plot holes. Also no Orville dose this week, so I'm nitpicking a lot. By the way, next Orville episode is directed by Frakes. Yay.
Oh, excellent. And Christopher Christopher has an odd comment. All Star Trek shows have many plot holes, not just Discovery. You know, it's funny how people think we're picking on Discovery when
I know.
we're reviewing the show now. So what we're going to talk about now, the show we're reviewing now. Like,
if we were reviewing TNG, we'd say this has many plot holes. If we go back and review these older episodes, we'd be like, this is an error. This is wrong. This is a plot hole.
yeah.
This doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
But so we're doing the exact same thing we would do with every Trek series. Just this is now the current one. So
And if you're arguing that because shows of the past had problems, this show can have problems, it's like saying, well, the 60s show, or like, I don't know, a fictional show in the 50s, well, that show had racism. Therefore, we had racist comments this season. It's like, what? Like, shows are meant to get better, smarter. You know, Game of Thrones didn't have, you know, shitty CGI, but this dragon show from 20 years ago did. It's like, no, it doesn't. it should all be good. It
VN
should get better, you know.
VN00 says the Orville is a ripoff. Yeah, it's kind of like a parody homage kind of thing to Star Trek TNG. So the whole ripoff thing isn't really an insult because that's what it was intended to be. Kind of transparent as to what it's imitating.
Yeah.
Anyway, Greg Ken puts in $2 Australian.
Thank you.
New name, Lost, Star Trek. No answers, just question.
Yes.
That's kind of what it's panning out to be, I guess. But
Grid Cube, you should grab a random episode of TNG and do this kind of review to shut people up. We did it for the TOS and Voyager, and we thrashed Threshold, the end bit anyway.
Yeah, we did Voyager Threshold and we did TOS Enterprise Incident in the same style, and not many people watch them. So, but yeah, we could definitely do this with every episode of Trek. There's always plot holes or mistakes or reused props and stupid silliness.
Or remember, I pointed out in that episode that even though it was the same two guards in every scene, despite them being in multiple rooms at the same time.
Yeah,
it's like we had two extras. Never noticed it. That's it. It's the two guys in every scene.
That's just all. Well, just because we're human, all Romulans look alike. You know.
Boo. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Hopefully, after we get past Discovery, we can do maybe a poll and see, hey guys, do you want to see more reviews? What show should we do? Maybe do like maybe do like a super chat live for people to pick episodes, and we can say like top 5 super chats. Pick the first 5 episodes we do. Something kind of cool. We do the same reviews because there's been a lot of fun. Especially with you. I mean, we've never. Before Discovery started, we never did these reviews. We always did ships, and so it's been really fun to like analyze and develop our own style. And you say things I never think of, and I'm sure I analyze in ways you never think of. And like that TOS one, I appreciate the Enterprise Incident far more after reviewing it with you. Hearing your thoughts and things you see. It's really interesting, for better and for worse.
And Eugene puts in 100 rubles. By the way, will you review Lasting Impressions anytime soon? Yes. We want to get a few buffered for the Orville again, because that one where we did we won't do 7 again in one live.
7?
6 or 7 we did, 6, yeah. But if maybe 2 or 3 we'll do, just because they're spaced out right now.
Yeah.
So we'll let them build up. Plus, there's not really much tech or ship stuff to talk about in that, and it's kind of our thing. That's more like a Gilmore Girls episode, in my opinion. Sure, it was fine and well written, but whatever. It could be said in any show on TV right now and still work in some context.
For me, it was my second favorite episode of Orville so far. I thought it was right up there at the top. Right up there. And the problem with Orville as well is that because the universe is so shallow, hasn't got 50 years, we can't analyze the tech in the same way. We can't do these deep dives because there is nothing deeper than the surface. They haven't invented it yet. It's only been 2 seasons. So we can't really make 2 hours out of one episode. There's just not that much. And you know what? The camera work's always good. The CGI is always good. Like, it's always good. It's kind of, it's hard to complain. It's more just, do you like the story or not? Really.
Oh, Jeff Jacobs reminded me. Guys, we've reinstated our Treknology segment on Facebook, and it's been done fantastically well by our brilliant mods. So I want you guys to go check it out. We talk about something cool each and every week. I think this upcoming week is warp drives. But yeah, check it out. Trekyards Facebook page. Go check it out.
And who's making them? What's the process for
that? Ian Warrender is working on it. Anyway, I can't remember everybody's name offhand. Hold on. Jeff Jacobs. No, Mike P. Commander Cockings, please check out Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix. And I 1,000% agree with him. You can watch the whole season 1 in like 2.5 hours because they're like short 11-minute episode kind of things. And they're all anthology. They're all their own stories. And it's really well done. There's some fantastically funny ones. There's some really disturbing ones. And they're all CG or animation, and they're really well done.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I would highly recommend it to anyone watching. I stumbled onto it one night on Netflix, and I watched the whole season 1 in one night. So
cool. Cool. I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, guys, we've got an episode coming out tomorrow, but please do, if you can, please do support the Avalon fan film series, since you plugged something. If you guys could support that. It's a wonderful fan film series I'm involved in heavily. I'm designing ships for it, and I mean, hopefully, I'll be designing the new phase. I mean, although I want to co-design that with you, Stuart. If you do custom phaser, custom tricorder, how do you actually truly modernize the TOS look? I think it would be great. And just go to Indiegogo, search Demons, a Star Trek fan production. It's a visually updated TOS universe filmed in a really modernized way with modernized props and costumes and VFX. And the story is really interesting. It links to multiple different canons, which I obviously, you can imagine, guys, I find quite exciting. And the team has a lot of respect for Star Trek, and they really need your help on Indiegogo right now because they are not doing great for whatever reason. I think they're not really getting the word out there as much as they could do, to be honest. But if you do,
great. It's great. I highly recommend it if you like Star Trek and TOS.
So please do go look.
Yeah. And KG puts in $2 Canadian. Who needs an after Trek show when we have you guys? Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we do try.
Rasmus Wolf Jensen puts in 45 DKK. I don't know what that is. Why do you think they built that suit? It could be from the future, found it, and they were in charge of studying it.
That's interesting.
Because Leland basically said that they helped design the suit and build the suit. So, but they could have had future knowledge or tech knowledge from the future. Yes, definitely a possibility.
But actually, that's even more interesting because if you remember, Leland said she had this concept about time people changing things, and then suddenly they had a design. It was like, oh, and here's a suit. It's like, what? Like, it wasn't, we had R&D for 6 years, and they, and if all it was just, we need to find a time crystal to charge it, and that was it. And by golly, how the hell do you invent a time travel device around a tech you haven't got? Like, what do you mean? How do you, you know what I mean? And how do you even design it to whatever? So I'm actually really interested in that. It could be they found the plans, they found a floating suit, and then maybe it already was tethered. That's why she went into the future, because the tether was already set to that time, the time that everything is important. That's where the first owner is from. That could be pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Make more sense.
I gotta get going, guys.
Oh.
I gotta get going. So we got another super chat. I don't know if you want to read it and take over, and I'll leave, or
yeah, I can. Well, no, I should. Yeah, I need to edit tomorrow's video and stuff. But Eugene says also. Yeah, you could.
Yeah, 150 rubles. Also, plot holes are more painful in Discovery, mostly because Discovery is not episodic, so those holes affect multiple episodes. Yes,
that's a great. Yeah, and also since they planned the entire season arc, it's easier to not write in plot holes, because if you're 8 episodes in, and you've written them 8 episodes in advance, then you're actively not fixing plot holes with 8 episodes of lead up. Rather than some episodes having less focus, especially when these later episodes are so important. You need to make sure they're proofread. So they're certainly worse in these things. It's like, in 24, if in 24, episode 18, nothing doesn't make sense. But it's like, this needs to be complete. That's why 24 is actually really good. It all flows so beautifully. It's so well written a show. Bye, Stuart. Bye, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.